Welcome to the 3.5 people watching, 15 people from New England, one imposter from the tri-state area, draft our fantasy baseball teams in a season where no one knows anything about anything that's going to happen. We've got a great group there together, and this is the first time we've done this. We were supposed to be together in Boston in April, but COVID hit, so I'm glad to do it. We're going to be able to get a lot of people on tonight. Hopefully next spring we'll be able to get back together, maybe catch a game at Fenway and draft and have a few beers next year. But thanks everyone for joining this league. The winner, there's no money involved in this league, only pride and the Lar Michaels Championship Trophy, which is easily the greatest trophy in fantasy sports.
Tim doesn't care about the Mike Trout news.
Well, he obviously wasn't late because he was looking at the news. Or maybe he was on the phone with Mrs. Trout.
Sorry, wait, what now?
No, just Trout. He's been slipping. He just went at 2 to Tim McCullough. So he obviously doesn't buy into any of the possible negative news.
Matt, I think you were hoping to get him at 16.
I didn't know what to think because normal in the NFBC has been dropping to like 5 or 6, but I thought in this room, you never know.
Oh, wait a minute. That's me. I'm up and I didn't even know it. All right.
You got 18.
Hey, remember, only 5 less seconds than you thought you had. So
it's all right. I wasted. For whatever reason, I thought it was drafting at the end. Why is it asking me to confirm? Okay. Well,
New team 15. That's Todd.
anyone else in normal drafts that are typical 5x5 or anything? Have you been taking anyone interesting in like your top 3 out of the normal because of the shortened season?
I would take Cole if I had the opportunity.
Yeah.
Interesting. I like Cole, and I definitely want 2 of those, 2 of my top 10 arms, but I'm willing to wait a little while.
I took
until the 2nd or 3rd round. I mean,
I took basically it doesn't really matter who you take early, but I took Mookie Betts 1 somewhere just because I wanted to just go all in on the narrative that he's a free agent, and this will be the last year he's totally going full on with the wheels with the stolen bases. Yeah, the free agency in 60 games, he can pedal to the metal the entire time for a team that needs him to. So,
well, he did say he didn't have the someone else in the Dodgers was considering, I think, sitting, and he's like, I don't have that luxury. So, I mean, that's it. Obviously in his head. Price. That's what it was. Obviously, yeah, he left. Yeah, that was what it was. They asked him about it. He's like, I don't have that luxury. So it's in his head, Matt.
Yeah. So, you can't go wrong at the top. But, yeah, like you never know with his back. The Brewers, something happens there. They may not totally let him go, maybe on the base paths. I'm fine taking him 1 too, obviously. But I just wanted to see if anyone is doing anything crazy. Or not crazy, different.
Yeah, I ended up – in March I would say Cole and DeGrom were towards the end of my first round, and now they're in my top 6. So I'm not quite as high as some of the other guys on them, but they're right there.
What's up with this MLB schedule? Was it the Padres having to go to Coors like 7 times? It's like completely uneven. It's insane.
Having to go to Coors 7 times?
Well, no, I mean like, I guess it depends on if you're saying hitters or pitchers. Chris Paddock has to go, and Fernando Tatis gets to go.
I was looking today. The Giants play their 7th game in Dodger Stadium before they play their 7th game at home.
Wow.
That'll play well in the Bay.
Yeah, it just may eliminate the Giants from playoff contention.
I'm really curious to see, just first of all, with some level of attrition that I anticipate during the season, which of these prospects are going to be up. I'm not actually as interested in like the elite guys. I'm thinking more like, I wonder if someone like Khalil Lee in Kansas City gets an opportunity, and like we're talking about Khalil Lee next year because he goes gangbusters for like 40 games, and then like what are we doing with that in 2021? Like if someone who like that who has been around for a while and just has like a hell of a month or something like that, and we're like, and what are we going to do with him? Like, I just think there's going to be a lot of players like that for next year.
I don't think we're going to be talking about many of them.
No,
They're not going to be many.
But then what are we going to write about, Todd?
Moving along pretty good here.
yeah,
Well, I've had people driving on the street give me the finger when I'm up. I think I'm honking at them.
Fantrax did not cut corners on the bullhorn. I mean, they really, that's the best bullhorn you can get.
I've took Verlander at the turn. He feels like someone who, at his age, in a shortened season, to try to maybe go get a cheap Cy Young. He seems like someone that could go to the team and be like, listen, I'm going 9 innings every game, and it's not going to be any other way. So I'm taking the maybe possible innings leader and trying to fly with him this year. Yeah,
all the intangible, the parks and the opponents all favor Houston / Verlander. So
yeah, I guess
we'll see how that fleshes out, though.
Get to go at all those nice NL West parks. It's nice.
This is very problematic for me. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with the fun. I'm going fun.
There you go.
Ooh, certainly is fun.
Well, he has to go to course for 7 games. He's being forced.
He's been sentenced. He's been sentenced there.
They're probably going to have to drug him and put him on a plane like Mr. T and A-Team to get him out of there.
See, I was going back and forth between him and Rendon. I was like, why would I pass him up? But I don't know.
Is anyone really, really down on NL pitchers? Did you did everyone just give them a slight downgrade, or is there anyone is there anyone giving severe downgrades to any of them?
I am, because they deserve it.
Is it including all of them, including the elite pitchers?
Yeah.
Do you still have DeGrom 2, for example?
Well, I had DeGrom 1 and he's dropped to 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, elite pitchers still, they have to face. They give up hits. Everybody, it'll be proportional. I mean,
I don't disagree. I was just curious.
It's completely flipped the paradigm. I mean, usually, I'm going to draft NL pitching. My top 90 starting pitchers, I think there's 57 AL right now.
Is there an analysis on the average NL or projected NL DH hitter versus the AL DH hitter? Because I feel like the rosters probably haven't caught up.
It's not the DH. It's the player. I should make my pick and then explain. But
no, do it now.
Damn it, Adam, you almost got him.
It's the player. Because some of the DHs would have played anyway. So it's the player replacing the
pitcher spot, right?
Well, no, I mean it's the player playing in the field because the DH is DHing. If Ryan Braun DH is someone. It's not the DH's at bats. It's the at bats of the guys that are replacing him.
Todd, you haven't picked yet. You got 10 seconds.
Yeah, I know. I know who I want. I want Starling Marte, if that matters.
That's my guess.
Yeah, well, don't love him in this format, but we're gonna go with him, and we'll take that, and we'll go there. I don't know if I beat it or not, but it's not currently my turn. So I was Otto Strasburg's, because I named it. Can we back it out, or are we stuck? with Strasburg?
I'm good. I got it.
I should, before I start explanations, look to see if I'm on the clock.
You're good.
I managed to be on Sirius during Tout Wars, and I think it was Rick Wolf was like, "You're on the clock." I was like, "Great, can I hang up now?" Thanks, man.
You good, Todd? It started.
I thought you were gonna just put Marte in. All right, I'll just put Marte in. Got to stay on brand here. Now I forgot what we were talking about.
Pitcher
About
replacement.
the DH, so you're saying that.
Oh yeah, so I mean,
Replacement DH.
if a guy who wasn't going to play is DHing, I mean, as far as trying to compare, so your question is valid. It's just the players that are making up the extra at bats might not be the DH, right? I mean, if Ryan Braun is going to play anyway, and he's DHing, then it's whoever plays the field instead of him. Those are the extra at bats, and I'm estimating that they're going to be close. ALDHs aren't tearing up the world right now, so if you take away the ALDH and the NL pitcher, NL has a better lineup. So it may not manifest in 60 games because anything can happen, but my prediction, if you will, is more runs are scored in the NL than the AL.
Interesting.
Now I feel terrible because I took an AL player with my first pick. No, but I mean, like Jesse Winker benefits more from the DH being situated than, I don't know, Max Muncy. I don't know if that's a good apples to apples.
Well, I mean, Muncy's probably going to play the field, but Matt Carpenter may not be the best example because people have different opinions whether he was going to play or not. But Howie Kendrick, he wasn't going to be playing, but with the DH and with Zimmerman out, he's going to get more bats. So those are the bats that count. But if you find someone, Marcell Ozuna, he was going to play anyway. Right. But if Atlanta DHs him, it's Johan Camargo, it's Austin Riley, it's Ender Inciarte. Those are the at-bats that would have been on the bench otherwise. So if you want to do your comparison, those are the extra at-bats. I mean, Ozuna's, Nick Castellanos, although he says he wants to DH, he's playing anyway. So it's like you mentioned, it's Winker or it's Senzel or whoever gets those at-bats because that spot's now opened up.
Will Nick Senzel be healthy this year ever? I just went with Morton and Greinke at the turn because I'm all about old men pitching this year.
I love Morton's my SP8, I think.
He's my Cy Young pick.
Is this his last season? Is this it for him?
I don't think so.
I mean, Morton and Greinke both were helped by the DH, and Greinke doesn't seem like a guy who can go out and win the Cy Young, or he can go out and just get crushed.
Yeah.
I mean, with this layoff, it's just like, I mean, so he doesn't use velocity anyway, so it's not like he's missing anything.
Right.
Yeah.
I just feel like Greinke's going to throw a ton of innings, which is helpful.
Why wouldn't he?
Yeah, I think.
Remember, the back end of the Houston rotation isn't very good, so they're going to need Verlander and Greinke to get innings.
Yeah, I just assume that they're gonna rely on the old men that already have like big contracts and whatnot instead of and they're like towards the end. They can Greinke, I feel like, could roll out of bed and he'll stand and pitch.
We did Roto Fanatic. We did our dark horse Cy Young picks. Jeff Zimmerman picked Greinke. Someone also picked
a dark horse.
Well, dark horse if they were making bets.
No, that's not a dark horse at all. Seriously.
If you're looking
I'd
at
almost consider him a favorite.
I would think if people were making bets, he wouldn't be among the top though.
Let's find the odds.
I don't know. How can he not be? Look at the numbers.
Charlie Morton 16-1. I know because I asked Eric to look it up.
Nice. You guys want to go back on that or no?
Say it again.
In this chat, Tom Howard said
Tom timed out.
Oh, I can go back. Sure. Hold on.
We needed those extra 5 seconds. We need those 5 seconds, man.
Want you on that wall?
Who does he want? Does he say? Or, well, I guess he just has to pick him again.
Hey, what's the button you push to? What's the search function on like Google Sheets? F something. What is it?
Control F.
Todd, what did?
Or command.
Appreciate it.
Why are you showing that you're up? What am I trying to do?
So,
well, I picked very quickly because I owed you guys some time before Tom had the chance to say that.
Go back 2 picks.
Do you mind if we go back one, Todd?
It depends who he takes. Whatever you need.
I appreciate it.
Well played, sir.
Oh, he's going to go to Colorado 7 times. You can have him. Kidding? All right. So actually, I think you have to refresh the draft room to get. I'm going to reconnect to get Giolito back into it.
If you need me to pause, let me know.
No, well, I should be good.
Todd, talk to me about your Giolito selection.
What about it? I mean,
I mean, I'm a Sox fan, and I just want to know: do you think that he's going to win Cy Young, or is Zach Greinke going to win Cy Young?
They're both contenders, Giolito. I mean, I know we're using innings and not wins, but even so, he's going to get the innings. The stuff is real. The changes are real. The what does it say? The repertoire, the new pitches, a spin. I love the White Sox. I mean, to me, the White Sox. If it was 16 teams in the playoffs, I'd feel better. But they're one of those teams in 60 games can make the playoffs.
Oh, you're just
Grandal behind the plate
right now, Todd. I love it.
I mean, I tell it like it is. I'm a Red Sox fan, and we're going to be terrible. But
thank the Lord. So on the DK Sportsbook, Greinke is your 10th highest favorite at 25-1 to win the.
Is that a long? I don't bet. Is that a long shot?
I mean, it's not necessarily.
No, I just want to make fun of Zimmerman. That's all.
Well, there was another person in our article, which I actually made a note within it when I was editing. It's put Clevenger. I just put, come on, dude.
Well, that's that's a favorite. I mean,
yeah, favorite. Oh, yeah, big favorite. That's why I meant, come on. Like my pick for about dark horse, I picked Frankie Montas. I think that's a dark horse.
Jose Barrios is borderline. No, he'd be a dark horse just because I think Barrios
is plus 2,000.
All right. Well, there's my money. The money I don't have.
Kopech is plus 6,000. Odorizzi plus 8,000. Aroldis Chapman plus 15,000.
Putting money on a reliever ain't a bad call this year. Just for the percentage innings they'll throw compared to usual.
Can you imagine if a Cy Young Award winner throws 23 innings?
That means baseball happened. So yes, I will imagine that and be fine with it. Mike Minor at plus 6,000.
Did Eckersley win a Cy?
Yes.
What did he win? How many innings was he under? He was probably under 100 at that point in the late 80s, right?
It was more than the standard. I mean, the closer wasn't quite the Goose Gossage type.
Yeah. How about Willie Hernandez? He must have been up there too. 84, maybe.
Definitely.
Oh, no discount on Cruz in this room. Oh, there's 2 utilities. Okay.
Joe,
there you go.
Your Jordan pick is curious to me.
What is that?
What was his bum knee and the fact that, I don't know, it just seems kind of the news coming out about that, the fact that he's not there. Why? What's going on there?
I mean, to be honest, I don't have any more information than anybody else does. Mostly just trying to have fun. Jordan's a lot of fun. He hit the lights out last year, and just gonna see if he can do it again. I didn't think he was gonna make it back to my next pick. Want to try to get a bopper in there, so we're rolling with it.
Yeah, I kind of wanted him.
Let me see if I can make you feel bad for making this pick because I wanted him too.
Andy, the Eugenio pick, I love it. Bold, and I'm fully supportive.
Well, I don't think it's bold.
It's higher than he's normally going.
There's a couple studies on the Reds and their home field advantage, if you've all seen it. I like Eugenio overplaying projections because of his home field.
Wasn't that the narrative on Puig last year?
I think Eugenio greater than signed Puig, but that's just me. Puig is a man without a country, right?
Yeah.
Sadly.
I'm going to go deaf with the bullhorn. I got to find where to shut that off. There it is. All right.
I went completely off the rails with what my plan was.
I mean, you got to wonder if his asking price is too high or what it is, but
the rumor is that teams don't want to invest if they want to make sure there's a season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Which is a little scary, if that's the reason. Yeah, I was instructed to reduce his projection on ESPN for the next update because he's projected to be draftable, and right now he's not.
Yeah.
So I'm under strict orders to reduce the playing time.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else have 3 starting pitchers yet? Just me. I'm looking at all the hitters. I'm like, I'm not too happy here. I'm going.
That was actually my plan, Matt. Was 3 out of the first 4, but did not.
Matt, your face
looked
way. So pained as you were sitting there. Like as your clock was going down, I looked at you. You just looked like you were looking at that board, staring at it, being like, I know.
I'm like, I already have Verlander. I don't. All right, I'll take Corbin and Darvish. Let's go.
Yeah.
I
probably would have taken Corbin if I didn't also have Max Scherzer and Corbin on my TGFBI team, like the only couple of teams that I'm going to really care about right now.
I am like egregiously high on Darvish, mainly because he gets to face like the first, third, seventh, and like 13th most highest strikeout teams, and
I bet his future back in March for Cy Young in the NL.
Yeah, NL and AL Central pitchers are.
What odds did you get, Dan?
I have to double check, but they were high. They're up around 45, I think, 45 to 1.
Wow.
And I have to admit, not legally, but so through an intermediary of sorts up here in Massachusetts.
He's got an 11th pitch, I think he's developed, right?
Yep.
Instead of the gyro ball, it's the hero ball.
His K to walk percentage, if you look at it for like month, it's like 10, 15, 20, 30, 40. It just keeps going. It's insane.
He had numbers that made a prime Clayton Kershaw jealous.
It was something.
It was ridiculous.
Todd, I'm curious, have you seen, I know he's not on the phone from baseball perspectives, but what do you think of the new PECOTA? Kershaw's number was super low. There was some talk on that on Twitter, but I was looking at a lot of pitchers. They have their ERA like around 2.5.
I have no idea. I have enough trouble with the Pizzolas, so I haven't gotten there yet. Speaking of Pizzolas, all right, Pizzolas up. All right, we're gonna stay on brand.
Nice. You know what's funny? He's a long shot. Simeon's a dark horse for MVP after finishing 3rd in the MVP voting. It's funny how little respect the guy is getting.
It just kind of, I remember him when he was with the White Sox, and we just kept thinking, he could be good. He's okay. And you squint, he could be very good. And then it just never materialized. But now he's entering his age 30 season, or is it 29? And
I'm all about playing time this year more than anything, and he's going to play.
Sure is.
You're stacking at bats.
He's not. It's not like
the suspect nature of kind of coming up. It's so late bloomer. Like you is just a blip on the radar compared to all the data that you have previously that kind of came out. That's why I think people are so suspect on him. Yohan, nice pick, Chris.
I love Moncada.
Nice pick.
No one ever says nice pick about Whit Merrifield, but
a couple years ago they would have.
Talk about late bloomers.
He came and then he went. I can't get behind that. If there was anyone where if I had to put money on them having a bad season, it would be him, or like not being good again. No offense to the pick. It's just this is only
sounds like total offense to the pick.
Seems like you're really crapping on the Whit Merrifield.
Well, hold on. I put out a lot of data on exactly every. Well, he won. He literally came out and he said that he's not putting his body on the line anymore for stolen bases. He literally just said he's not going to do it anymore. And I'm like, okay. And he needed like 750 plate appearances to get his stats. It's like, I don't know, aging compiler who refuses to run. It's just, I don't dig the narrative.
Jeff McNeil.
He's very handsome. I'm just going to say that.
Aging compiler on the Royals. Let's see what he would say if he was on another team.
Well, hey, there would be a difference, right?
One would think.
So there's a question in chat I'll toss out to you guys. Anyone avoiding pitchers on teams that have publicly stated early limits? 60 pitches, 3 to 4 innings for first 3 to 4 starts, Cardinals, Yankees, etc.
Well, in his first time out, they let Cole go 5 or 6, didn't they? Or whatever it was.
I'm not. I listen to a lot of Eric Cressy, and for you guys who don't know, he runs a couple training facilities, and he does a lot of work with the major league players, and he now works with the Yankees. But on a few of his podcasts, he's mentioned that he feels it's much easier for pitchers to continue throwing on their own, and that they should come in camp probably more ready than batters, because like the hitters aren't going to be facing live pitching and taking weeks to ramp up. So based on what Eric is saying, and I trust his judgment, personally, I'm not, and I don't trust the teams to give us accurate info.
Oh, sure. I think you meant their judgment. Well, that too. I mean, but
Todd just took Lance Lynn, who threw like 180 pitches yesterday in his first time out. He's ready to go.
I mean, I think we all have, I mean, I don't know if I'm avoiding teams, but we're all being subjective, and we think there are individual pitchers that may be subject to that. So, I mean, I know some teams have come out and said it, but right, if Mike Soroka's got 55 pitches through 4 innings, the Braves are up 3-0, he's coming out for the 5th. I mean,
right. I mean, if I'm answering the question, I don't know if I'm answering the question by saying this, but like I feel like a lot of us are approaching this as saying Garrett Cole, DeGrom, Verlander, Buehler, like those players you're going to treat just like you would normally, even maybe more at a premium than you had in the past.
Or can you back that? I think it wasn't working. I was trying to pick Baez.
Sure.
But I'm gonna fade other players, other like mid-tier players, but I might boost up a guy like Julio Urias more so than anybody else.
I think that's a mistake. But
why?
Because there's no 130 or 40 inning limit in a 200 and 162 game season, it doesn't mean he's going to throw 12 games and 6 innings every game. There's still a short-term stress risk over it. So Luzardo has the Corona now, so it could take him out. He went like 50 or 55th in a 12-team RotoWire online. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Urias at 101, I feel, is high. The point being, I don't think that all reins aren't off. There's no innings limit, but that doesn't mean he's gonna be treated as if a 60 or 70 inning pitcher.
But if those players, let's just say that most pitchers are going to pitch somewhere between 45 and 55 innings, right? Somewhere in that ballpark, maybe 40 to 50, depending on what your projection is. I feel like Urias's 40 to 50 innings is going to be much more valuable than a Dinelson Lamet or like a Zach Gallen.
He's not being drafted by Dinelson Lamet. He's being drafted in the 5th and 6th round.
Urias?
Yeah, he went 101 in the well, that's 7th or 8th round. He went 101 in the BJF Erickson RotoWire League the other night.
And so where is he around in TGFBI? Like Tyler Glasnow was just taken. I might, in my mind, take Urias in line with Tyler Glasnow.
You're not worried about the Dodgers? I mean, obviously with Price gone, they're putting either May or Stripling in the rotation, but they still Gonsolin, May, or Stripling. They have a really talented pen that they can go out of their way to not push Urias. So it just seems like
the narrative is that a lot of teams are going to pull their starters earlier and rely on their bullpen, right? Isn't that what we were just kind of talking about? The Yankees and I mean, who else?
I think a team like the Dodgers would worry me more with Urias because they are equipped to not have to rely on him as much. You know what I mean? Like there's other teams with really talented pens. He's just one of them where I feel like they won't, some of the front end guys, like they'll let Buehler and Kershaw go because they've obviously done it and they've been there. But for guys like him, one hiccup or anything, and they may pull him. That's just my concern with, it's more about like the teams with the really talented guys that can go multiple innings. I'm worried about the back end of all their rotations.
That makes sense. The big thing.
So let's pull. No, go ahead.
No, I somewhat agree with Todd of just, I think you're not getting the value at 101. If you're getting him deeper in a draft at 140 to 160 and you think the upside's there, you're baking in that upside. But if you're drafting him at that position, there's enough worry for me there that I'd stay away.
So even up. Lance McCullers or Julio Urias?
Urias, in my mind.
How big a gap?
I'd have to look at, because I know that you go off of TGFBI and I don't look at that as much.
I don't go off of that. I don't even know what that is.
NFBC. I'm sorry. I know I said TGFBI. NFBC. My bad.
I barely even know what that is. Yeah, McCullers is in the 200s. To me, yeah, I like Urias more, but they're still sort of the same. They stay profile the same. Injury risk, really good when they pitch, may get hurt. I'll take McCullers at 200 over Urias at 100.
So take Urias off the board and insert Kenta Maeda instead. Does
I
that
love
change
Maeda.
anything for you?
Me too.
Because I feel like that's like the equivalent of that's a quick pull right there, right?
I don't know.
I don't know why. I don't know why. I mean, this I could be. I'm looking at the original. Like getting back to like the original question. I mean, I'm trying to look at it team by team. I'm not like not drafting Braves pitchers, but they're lower in my mind. Like I was very high on Max Fried. I'm not anymore. I wasn't super high in Soroka, but I'm lower on them than I was. They've got tons of arms that they can just plug in there, to stack, to limit the impact on the arms in 2020. Whereas, like you look at Texas, it just seems to me like they've got a bunch of horses there. They're going to ride them, and so that's like I'm looking at it within team context and trying to make a decision. And I think it's going to be a big separator this year in terms of value of pitching. So
no, specific to this league, we're using innings pitched. Right. I know the question was probably for their own. The question was probably more for their own leagues, but I don't. What we do in this particular league may not represent what would be done in a league with wins. Maybe, who knows? Know your rules.
I don't think it's uncommon to be switching to innings pitched though. So I think they're. Because of the weirdness of the season. So I still even in a wins league, I'm bumping down Fried and Soroka and bumping up Lynn and Minor, and I'm bumping up Maeda, but I don't see why the Twins, unless Randy Dobnak is going to have a renaissance. I don't know. I feel like teams that have like 5 good starting pitchers and want to contend should ride the older guys that they got.
Yeah, I lived in Fort Myers while Dobnak was driving Uber, and I really wish that I had gotten him. That would have been so cool.
Well, it's a good thing you moved, Joe, so you could participate in the league.
Chat Curious George said, thanks, guys. Appreciate the insight. Justin Mason said hello before. And Eddie said, how y'all letting Ralph get away with Gallo 5th in an OBP league?
Tell him to read the news.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm severely down on power hitters with high variant batting average with no speed. I feel like in a 60-game season, he could be a league winner, but he could also be very, very similar to.
Very true.
What are you guys putting as the high end for home runs? Like, what do you think the home run leader?
22.
I'm projecting 15, but someone's going to hit 20.
Yeah, I
the
think
home
20 is the
run leader
number.
last year, if you prorated out, was 19.6 or something. So, I think 19.
Through what, Matt? Like through the first 60 or just 60-day rolling?
No, that's just the leader for the entire season,
okay,
prorated to 60 games, would be 19.6. So, I think that's fair enough, Mark.
Yeah, I'm with you, Matt. On I'm downgraded. Just I pushed up speed a little bit in this short season. I could be wrong about that, but I feel like the plotters. I'm not in with them. You definitely influenced my opinion on that.
It's not even necessarily guys with little speed. I'm talking about guys with
Yeah,
also
zero.
no, because like 1-2 stolen bases will end up really adding up. So I would like someone to give me something, but if I know you're going to give me a 0, that's a big red flag.
Although Gallo is probably a non-zero, but to your point, the variance and batting average that's there. I'm not to kick myself here, but I'm probably not going to be drafting Franmil. Those are the types of guys where I feel like they could hit like 210, 220 and would give me no speed or.
Plus, also one of the worst contact hitters in baseball. I believe in Franmil, but over a short season, if you're going to bank against someone having an extended cold streak, it'll be high strikeout, low contact, right?
Yeah. And shout out to Justin for being the Bay Area Roto Fantasy League was the original league that he started with Laura that inspired us to start this league. So appreciate it.
Yeah, Justin gets enough shout outs. No more.
I agree. He's the worst.
I mean, he's all right. I mean, his wife's more popular than he is. Come on.
She's better at Twitter, that's for sure.
All right.
Hey, Carlos Correa just went. Joe's obviously in the chat here. What do you guys think of just in general guys like that? Do you think are you thinking 60 games maybe you can keep it together, or if he goes down you're dead? Like, how do you feel against guys with the big history past?
It's all or nothing with him. It's either going to be great or it's going to be horrible. So if there's a time to pick Carlos Correa, I feel like why not now?
He had a crazy pace last year.
Short season.
I'm hating these picks. These like Laureano, Correa, Ozuna, and Biggio were all in my top 6 for my queue. So I hate you all right now.
Tell us how you really feel.
I'm going to end up finding another Whit Merrifield.
Hey, there's Fran Milrace. There he goes.
George obviously not paying any attention to the screen.
George is notorious about Fran Mill. He's always loved him.
I mean, I love Fran, but it's just like we already talked about this. But if the chances of him and like Randall Grichuk being that far apart isn't that great in 60 games, so it's hard to wrap. When you dig through the data, it was just I came away like, okay, I can't. It's impossible to draft guys like this.
All right, so let's go. I love Ramon Laureano has become one of my favorite targets, by the way, Nick, in these. I think this is the first, I've done 4 now, I think, drafts since the restart. This is the first one I don't think I own him in. Big fan. Just love the all-around game and where you can get him.
These
yeah, I mean the OBP isn't going to be stellar, but he does everything else, so he should be. He should have a good year.
If he could only play defense, that's the only problem.
Is there a category for throwing in this league?
Outfield assists.
The Chuck Knobloch. Oh, you meant in positive fashion.
I always love bringing up defensive metrics as a category just to have all the trolls come at me. People get so upset. I mean, not that there's an accurate way to actually measure it. Outs above average is probably the best effort that's been made towards measuring it, in my opinion. But I don't see them ever making one that's actually going to be worthy of making a statistic like for fantasy.
I like some of the stuff Baseball Info, Bill James Handbook's doing, but I haven't seen it for a while.
Freaking relief pitching.
Mark Hanhog, it's the OBP. That's the OBP bump picks right there.
Yeah.
Oh, Kana. Wow.
Is that how you pronounce it, Matt? See,
Kana. Kana sounds cooler. So I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong. But you sent me the official way to the pronunciation guide, and he's just someone who slipped through the cracks.
Thank you.
There's my Dartmouth buddy, Kyle Hendricks.
Everyone giving away. No one wants to give away their secrets while we're drafting, but like I said, I mentioned compiler earlier with Whit Merrifield. Guys like Kyle Hendricks that are ratio guys, do you put more or less stock in them in a short season do you think it's more important to have them, or do you think they can't do as much damage? Like, the way that, their main weapon is, actually having a lot of innings and contributing in that way.
I could be wrong about this. There's certainly smarter people in the room, but I love the boring reliability of Kyle Hendricks. It seems like I feel like now he'll go out and have like a 1.4 whip. But I feel like, he's a nice stabilizer because at the bottom of the rotation, who knows what you're going to be getting. So I like the pick.
No, that's exactly it. You're going to be streaming the heck out of the bottom half of your staff. Sure, you don't get the strikeouts, but if you stream well, you'll make up for it there. So I see no reason to avoid Hendricks.
Yeah, he's a big roster construction guy for me, right?
Yeah,
like,
he's going to throw 5 or 6. He's going to throw. He's not going to be lifted early. He may actually go.
I like him. I guess my question was more 60 games. If you have a guy like that who's maybe not giving you the strikeouts to keep afloat, if he does happen to have one bad game, for someone who relies so heavily on his ratios, it might, it's harder to come back from. So it's more just a general question. I agree with what everyone has been saying, but just I think a lot of things people typically ask.
Anybody have a favorite brew from New England? Beer?
There's a lot to choose from.
I know. Just ask for the favorite. Come on.
I like. I'm probably a sip of sunshine guy from
That's a good
Boston's
pick.
Liquids in
That's a
Vermont.
good pick.
You got, if you haven't had Heady Topper, you have to have it just as your comparison point,
Right.
For all the others.
Your baseline. Yep.
Your baseline. You have to. And when you do that, you come to Boston. There's Trillium.
Yep.
Which
I've
is
heard
great. A whole bunch of great New England IPAs, and then there's one in Cambridge called Lamplighter that makes. If you ever in Cambridge,
I just heard about them.
Cambridge. If you ever go to Cambridge, get Rabbit.
Okay. I'm in Waltham, so I'm not far away.
That's good beer.
Yeah.
Andy, you said what's it called? Rabbit.
I'm up now. Yeah, Rabbit by
Trillium.
It's Lamplighter in Cambridge.
Nice.
I found Jack's Abbey when I first got up here 5 years ago, and have stayed pretty steady with them. They're out of Framingham.
Yeah, I if you like good, IPAs, hazy, juicy New England versions, start with Heady Topper, Lamplighter, Rabbit, Aeronauts, a Somerville one.
Okay.
Double hop. That's a good one. There's one out in Hudson, Mass called Laser Cat.
I haven't heard that one.
That's a legit double IPA. So, come up to Boston. I'll give you a beer tour sometime.
There's one here in Waltham called Flying Squirrel, I think.
Yeah.
Which is a brewery here in the city.
Yeah, Heady's great. I mean, Heady's great. Also, the Alchemist Focal Banger is solid.
I just finished up some Focal.
Solid.
I live 90 minutes from both Alchemist and Lawson's right now, so that's a nice perk.
Nice.
And then when I go home to Maine, I go through Portland, so I typically stop there too.
The Maine Beer Company, I love their beers. The Lunch and the God, I'm not gonna remember the name. Lunch is their signature beer, but I love the Maine Beer Company's beers.
They're awesome. I'm a big fan.
Something like there's one called like a little something special or a little sip of something. I'm not gonna remember what it is, but so good. Oh. I'm heading up there next week.
I'm taking notes.
Maybe a tiny beautiful something.
I've got a 30-pack of Narragansett right now in the house, so
there it is. That'll get you through.
It's good hot weather beer.
Yep, absolutely.
Matt, you know you got 10 seconds, right?
That pains me to do in an OBP league, but here we are.
Is he going to get to 5 walks this year?
He could. He may.
I love the Benintendi pick. I've never been a Benintendi guy, but this year he's one of my guys. I think he's just going to lead off. He'll steal more bases because he's leading off. He's going to score a ton of runs, and he's going to just stack at bats. I love
he was my pick. Who Cross? If you're listening, you've now sniped me like 3 times. Thank you. I was actually going to take Conforto, but I didn't even realize he was taken until I went to take him. Like, oh no.
You're just used to the Mets being disrespected too much, man.
I don't have that many Mets on my teams, to be honest. Because Alonso, the power no speed thing, it's like, yeah, I don't have many Mets at all. Unless I get DeGrom early, there's not too many. Tommy Pham finally goes. The COVID bump down is real.
Yeah.
For a guy that already has a little bit of an injury problem.
Ah, boy.
Adam, I like it when your tone and your body match your background.
It's very problematic at the moment. God, this is such a reach.
Going full screen on you on the stream, Adam. Enjoy.
This is a reach again.
Yes, do it.
I make no apologies.
Yes.
I'm gonna go get a beer.
Oh, that's not a reach. I literally was 2 seconds from taking him.
My roster construction stipulates that maybe I should have gone into a different direction.
Sure.
It is what it is.
OBP, I love.
I was
the
about to
pick. I
say
love
an
it.
OBP league. I don't know how that's a reach.
Yeah, it was between him and Tim Anderson for me, and I almost took Randall.
Two more opposite players on the same team, you'd be hard pressed to find.
You know what? Grandal should probably be batting leadoff and not Tim Anderson, to be honest. Of course, no, it should be leading off as Nick Madrigal if we want to open up that can of worms.
Oh boy, let's get the Madrigal take. He's the most divisive player, and Matt is carrying the flag for him.
Well, here it is. I don't care that he doesn't hit for power, which he can't. I'm not in the camp of people that think he'll develop it, but he has a nice line drive swing. And he takes a ton of walks, he gets on base. The on base percentage usually goes from the minors to the majors. And that team is just full of strikeout hitters. Literally, all of them are strikeout hitters. So there's no one really equipped to bat leadoff. If Madrigal can go there and bring his on base percentage with him, they don't need him to hit home runs. They just need him to get on base in front of all the mashers. So, yeah, I think they should put him there soon.
Just like the NBA, Matt. It's positionless baseball. Doesn't matter where you hit. Just hit home runs. That's all that matters.
But yeah, plus Madrigal never strikes out and he plays great defense, so I think he will be good. It's like how excited, and it's obviously tied to him batting leadoff, his value, because like Luis Arias, like how valuable would he be if he batted leadoff for the Twins? Compared to where he is now. Obviously, Madrigal can steal as well, but he should lead off. Madrigal, not Arias.
Right.
That's a tough lineup to crack right there.
Any Madrigal haters in the room?
No, at least one in every group.
I will have to say I haven't thought a ton about him. Like, it's not somebody I focus too much energy on, so I can't say I hate nor love.
I have a lot of conversations with prospect guys, so that's mostly where it comes from. I don't know if Eric's listening. Eric Cross, he likes him. Love Justin Turner. There's a guy who could reach for an MVP award in a crazy season.
Sure,
I agree with that.
There goes Luzardo. So we're certainly not bumping up those young arms the way other leagues are, it looks like.
In my projections, I have him next to Jose Urquidy. I mean, that probably sounds insane, but again, it's not my rankings, just my projections. I don't know what Oakland's going to do outside of Montas.
How much do those vary for you, Matt, between your projections and your rankings?
Not a ton, because I really only alter them for guys I really have a strong feeling about. And he's someone where I know I'm not getting him, so I don't really feel the need to move him much in my rankings. So it's like me, I do have him higher than Urquidy in my rankings, but that kind of the weight I put on everything, I think just kind of speaks volumes. There's certain guys I just know I'm never going to get.
DK Sportsbook, which is what I have open, has Justin Turner at plus 6,600 for MVP. Right in line with Rhys Hoskins, Jeff McNeil, JT Realmuto, and Trey Turner.
Honestly, I think the biggest red flag against him is just the team he plays for.
Sure.
Because he's going to split votes. Look at Jeff Kent. Jeff Kent and Barry Bonds. Hello. That worked out.
Just took your boy JD Davis.
Chris,
thank you.
I love and appreciate your Jorge Polanco pick. I'm all on board for Jorge Polanco being a dude.
I think he is. I think he's getting lost a little bit, and just the shortstop is so ridiculously deep. It's hard to pick a bad one, but
he's been one of my favorite auction picks, because he's definitely one of the people that I just wait till the end and then scoop up for cheap, and people are like, damn it. Be like, you forgot he existed, didn't you?
Yeah. Rob Silver actually turned me on to him in terms of when he was – because I had liked him like a decent amount, but I didn't have as much confidence in him. And Rob said – I can't remember what he said on his podcast with Van Lee. God, I'm forgetting the name of the baseball podcast.
Oh, Launch Angle?
Yeah, with Launch Angle.
This seems like a bad brand moment for you.
Luckily, no one's watching. But yeah, on Launch Angle, Rob was like talking about Polanco, and it made me do a little bit of a deeper dive on him. And I'm a fan. think he's just a really good, solid young hitter that's going to get better. And he plays in Minnesota, so he's kind of forgotten.
There was a guy I thought I was being clever early on when I called him a dark horse MVP, but now it seems like everyone's on board. Is Ryan Braun?
Wow, I love Braun. That's a bold statement, right?
Well, here's the thing: I wouldn't bet it because obviously there's a lot against him. But if he's going to DH and he can stay off the field, like look at his last few years. Like he's still a real power speed threat. So if he doesn't have to worry about lingering injuries in a nice park,
is he getting FedEx deliveries in quarantine or no? Is that?
I don't know. Well, maybe not a real MVP, but I'm just for where he's going. I like to see him go this high because I'm very interested to see what he could do this year.
I don't like seeing him go this high because you used to be able to get him 100+ picks.
Well, I should say I like the respect that's being given.
It is surprising that he's still waiting for the year where he just stops running, but so far it hasn't happened.
It's true. Todd, I was looking at Masters ball projections, and you're really high on Hyunjin Ryu. I was just a little bit worried because of we have no idea where Toronto is going to play. Todd's been very quiet. I wonder if he's away from his computer. And I guess he is.
Especially because he's unmuted.
I muted myself, and you guys have missed some incredible jokes. I wish I was kidding. Anyway, yeah, because I got a fan going. I wasn't sure if you guys were hearing it. And
no, not at all.
Then I'm living in a hill. There's sirens. Anyway, yeah, no. Ryu's a really good pitcher, and it's not the greatest environment, but he's actually helped a little bit by the schedule and such. And some of these guys that don't rely on velocity and don't rely on spin, you just step up there and do the job. Yeah,
I think I like the pick a lot. And like I said, that was one of the projections of Masters ball that really stood out as kind of a signature projection.
It's not. I mean, I'm not. It's also boosted by the we're talking about DeGrom in the designated hitter. I mean, the players at the top of a set of rankings are kind of they're spread apart. Even go to dollar value, the $2 or $3 apart. $2 or $3 once you get to the middle of draft is 2 or 3 rounds. So maybe I may have dropped DeGrom $2, but it was one spot. You drop a guy in this range $2, and it's 2 rounds. So it's all relative.
Dan sniping me on Maeda. All right, that's fine.
Yeah, I was debating Maeda or Ryu because I mean they're both kind of the same guy. I mean, Maeda may have a better chance for some wins.
Cross, but he snipes me.
It was a free.
Nearing the end of round 9.
Herman Marquez. I did one of the DVR, the Derek Van Riper trilogy drafts. I did the NL, and I'm going to own Marquez because they're going to be playing in a bubble, and Marquez isn't going to be playing in Coors. And
careful, Todd. You're talking to the German Marquez fan, like the number one fan.
I know, but
I sadly continue to love him more than
there is nothing. I mean, the skills wise, he's an excellent pitcher, but Coors is undefeated.
Yep.
I know.
Coors it's better. It's worse for runs than homers. So I mean, it doesn't matter.
I think that there's somehow there's room for improvement. I think that he's probably somewhere between his 2018 and 2019 season, or his late 2018, 2019 career.
And if
he lost the touch on his curve and his on his splitter. So I don't know.
It's one of those years if he gets 4 starts at home and 8 in the road, he could have a 3.3 ERA,
Mm-hmm.
But if it goes 8 and 4, it could be 4.6. Who knows?
Why not?
Because as we know, he's gonna have to face the Padres a lot.
Yeah.
For me, when I draft, it's always a game of how can I make this as simple as possible? And I have eliminated all Rockies pitchers from even my thought process for the better part of 15 years, and I have yet to really regret it.
I just try to see how I can screw it up the most.
What were you saying, Dan?
I just try to see how I can screw it up the most.
Mitch Garber. Another string of very nice picks there. Buxton, Lux, and Garber.
I just saw on the DK Sportsbook, again, what I have up, that Yoenis Cespedes is plus 4,000 for MVP.
It's not bad. I mean, just because he has nothing to lose. Also, I mean, he's actually playing for practically free with that contract he agreed to this year with the Mets that was already severely discounted because of the whole hog situation. So he wants another contract. So I could see him. I mean, it all depends on when they play him, but with the DH, it's not, for value. I could see it.
Same value as Seager, Goldschmidt, and Scherzer at plus 4,000.
Love Seager.
The world, my life is a better place when I'm watching Yoenis Cespedes do things on the baseball field and watching all of his antics off it.
Yep. Love his cars.
Didn't he also? I think he rode into spring training on a horse at one point.
He did. Yeah, because that was ranch where he got attacked by the boar. He drove. He either comes in a really crazy sports car, or or a horse.
Is he everyday DH, or are they going to try to stick him in the field at all?
He was playing. They had him in the field already during spring training, and they also had him at first base. Don't know what that's about. I would assume they're going to alternate people because JD Davis obviously has issues, but they also have people like Robinson Cano who probably shouldn't be playing every day because they can move McNeil over. I think Cano maybe get some time too. So I would assume he's not actually every day. I mean, he had everyone knows about the Bohr thing, but he had injuries on both. He had surgery on both heels. Yeah. So I don't see him playing every day. I mean, whether I know some teams play 20 in a row. The Mets play 17 in a row at one point. So I don't know about
that. They're a team that could use an extra DH slot.
Is he still looking more like Pablo Sandoval, or is he more svelte now? Like, what's that?
Cespedes?
Yeah.
No, I think he looks fine.
Okay. I mean, I'm not a best shape of his life type person, but I did see a picture of Pablo Sandoval. He was a big boy. Like that was.
And Baggerly tried to back off it, like, I didn't post it to have people freak out about his weight. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, but Jared Carabas was a jerk.
I didn't see that, but like,
did anyone actually downgrade him because of that? I was just like, hey, there's Pablo Sandoval doing his thing.
I personally saw nothing wrong. I don't know what the hell is about.
What are we downgrading him to? Like, where is he going?
Yeah, I know he is who I thought he was.
Exactly.
Speaking of best shape of his life, did you guys see CC Sabathia though? Looks incredible.
Oh,
yeah.
Like a different person.
I love people are like, great. Like, why didn't you do this while you were playing?
Well, he did.
Maybe that's
what I was saying.
He did, and he pitched crappy.
Yep.
Oh, did he?
Well, he dropped 60 pounds and then pitched to Todd's point, like crap.
Yeah. So whether it was
mental,
certain, happenstance or just whatever, but yeah, that's a thing. So
he said he needed the extra weight since he was in high school to pitch well. I mean, he was obviously thinner back then, but he was still a big dude. But it's Prince Fielder was like that, right? As well. Like, didn't he go on? Or am I making that up? I know he became a vegetarian and lost some weight. I don't remember if his performance slipped or not.
Oh, I lost 100 pounds 10 years ago, and I wasn't nearly as good of a writer. So
you're hungry all the time.
I was working out all the time. I couldn't get my work done. No,
hey, there goes Julio. Is this an acceptable spot for Julio?
Where are we? 15 times 6. Wait, no, 15 is my team. 165. Yeah, I mean, sure. 100. Plus, we're using innings.
Would you take Sean Manananaya?
Innings. If he goes 4 innings, he gets 4 innings credit. He doesn't. He just doesn't get a win. Besides, I wouldn't. It's one man's opinion.
Manaya's an interesting guy.
You should end all tweets by that. Why, by the way, this is just one man's opinion.
It's so weird, wanting a certain position. all right, say closer and sorting by saves, we're seeing like 13 is the lead. He's like, wait a minute, that's a lot.
Yeah, when we did our first draft with the revised, the first draft like a week ago with the revised projections, it was jarring. It was like, I can't even look at these.
Zach Wheeler, he's a guy I literally would never draft this year because I don't know how. I think there's an outside chance he just doesn't pitch.
Oh yeah.
And we're close to the point of the draft where I can replace him. We're not quite there yet. We're kind of close to the point where, do I want to start or do I want to reliever? I'm not even talking closer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be so many committees this year also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be a committee other than just, he's gone 2 out of 3. We just need to get him a day off. So instead of 15 saves, someone gets 12.
Right.
And then there's the Brandon Kinsler who won't need days off because they're not going to win any games, but he gets 11 saves, getting every single opportunity.
Very true. But yeah, I think with the lack of off days, you're going to see a lot of that 2 out of 3, bring in somebody else, that sort of thing.
Or maybe the 8th inning guy just keeps going or something. Who knows?
Right.
I like that Chris Davis pick. He seems to be another guy that he hasn't jumped back up at all in recent drafts.
Like at the end of May. At the end of May, didn't he have like 10+ home runs last year?
Yeah. Then they made them. Was it an interleague game? They put him in the field, and he had a little issue with a wall.
Yeah, he hurt himself running down a foul ball down the line. Yep.
And people talking about pitchers getting hurt. we need the DH so Chris Davis doesn't get hurt.
Damn it! Nice pick.
So I know there's a bump down for usually statistically there's like that bump down for people going full-time DH, but yeah, there's certain people where them not having to think about fielding I think is a help, like Kyle Schwarber, like taking balls off his head and stuff via like Canseco. But
I mean, that's why I took him where I did. I feel like that DH opening, he's probably one of the people that benefits the most out of it coming to the NL. I mean, everybody's been waiting for years, but
his second half was kind of like hidden for other ones that are better. When he changed his stance to have his batting stance to have his bat out in front of him rather than rested on his shoulder, he started like getting around on the ball more, going to all fields. He batted like 50 points higher versus lefties, which is always like a killer for him. So I like him to be a monster. But 60 games, who the hell knows?
Just one man's opinion.
Just one man's opinion. Rich Hill, I want to know what was in that bag he tried to smuggle into that Patriots game. Did we ever find that out?
What? I don't know this story.
No, look it up. Google Rich Hill Patriots or Rich Hill jail, whatever. His wife and him tried to
wife. Yeah, wasn't his wife, and then he like tried to protect her in some way.
I don't know the entire story. Yeah. I just know they tried to smuggle a bag into a Patriots game, literally refused to like let it go, and then ended up going to jail.
He who has not sinned cast the first stone.
He who has not tried to smuggle something into a Pats game cast the first stone.
Was on MLB Now today. Brian Kenny and who's the former Rockies GM they have on there all the time? O'Dowd. I usually don't care for anything he says because he's like a terrible GM. Therefore, I don't really care what he has to say. But he said something interesting with Ohtani because I always said from like February that they should just pitch him on Sunday. He knows what day he's pitching. It never changes. It's usually afternoon, and he'll hit the rest. He said in a short season coming off Tommy John, make him your closer and make him bat every day. And let him bat every day. I'm like, well, that's actually not a bad idea. If you want to try to limit his innings and get his bat into the lineup as much as possible between DH and outfield, I kind of like it.
So he would start in DH
or the field, and then they can move him right in since he's in the game, they could just move him into pitching. Because if you go to extra innings, once you get to the 9th or something, it hardly matters losing your DH spot with the whole 1 inning with the 2 man on second crap. Was someone upset about the Garrett Hampson pick? I mean,
not really, but also kinda.
I think that's
kind of the way the Rockies feel about Garrett Hampson.
Yeah,
Not wrong.
That's very true.
I like that Nick is putting some respect on Shin Soo Choo's name in a OBP league.
Joe Adell is the truth, my friends.
Yeah. You and Eric Cross will have to fight it out over him. I still think.
Okay, so what you're saying is you're high on one of the top prospects in baseball?
No, I mean I'm high on him more than I would be in a non-shortened season.
I'm just being a dick.
Are we even sure he's going to play? Like he had a 30% strikeout rate in AAA.
Who are they going to put out there?
Brian Goodwin. You're assuming Trout. If you're assuming Trout is gone.
I'm
Trout's gone, maybe. Other than that, I don't see it.
I think he's playing.
He's going to beat out future Hall of Famer Brian Goodwin.
I know. It's just he really looked bad in AAA, and I just don't see how that translates to let's put him in the majors. This should be fine. I like him a lot, but it just seems in 60 games it just seems like more of a step backwards than anything. Like for his development, I don't know. Whatever. Just one man's opinion.
Joe, you were saying something before. What did I miss? Did you not like it?
I mean, I love Adele. I feel like they might go with other guys first, but I mean, the baseball fan in me wants to see Joe Adele.
I don't know. I think the Angels are one of those teams that think they have a puncher's chance in this scenario.
Todd's got it. That's what I think.
Well, it could be.
Shouldn't we know? I mean, we should be getting lineups and if he's hitting leadoff on the A team or hitting 8th on the secondary team and whatever. We should find out. I put a stupid tweet out saying, looking for a deal on 30
No such thing as a stupid tweet.
Well, I guess it's kind of redundant. But I put out a tweet saying, looking for a deal on 30 drones and someone in each major league city that knows how to fly one. And most people took it, whatever. I got a message on LinkedIn from a guy who says, I could hook you up. What?
I know a guy.
Careful what you ask for.
I know a guy.
I almost want to say, how much? Okay, yeah, let me know. I'm sure. How much would that cost? But I just don't have the heart to. Oh gosh.
Wow. On LinkedIn, I mean, that's like.
It wasn't even. I mean, some guy on Twitter said it. I just thought he was, being funny, whatever. Put out a dumb tweet, you get a dumb return. You got to expect those sorts of things. But on LinkedIn, it's just I hardly ever go to LinkedIn. I go once a week. I don't know, I don't know why.
It is pretty useless.
There's a question from the same guy as before over on.
He's had his
YouTube.
Question already.
Well, he gets a second one because he's the only one asking him, Todd. Not sure if y'all touched on this, and I think it is a legitimate, at least, question for most. How are you dealing with those who have already been diagnosed with the corona, as he says?
I'm staying 6 feet away and wearing a mask.
Is it? I don't like. I know a lot of people out there are just saying they automatically get a 10% reduction. If you're asymptomatic, am I speaking out of my ass here, or is I think if you're asymptomatic,
tell us, Matt. I don't.
No, if you're asymptomatic, I feel like isn't there information out there to suggest that you may never get a step back ever? Like you could come back and never have felt off.
Well, you're hearing that. I mean, that's what Erickson's saying. And as a guy who does projections, whatever, you have to make a note of it, and you have to drop him. I mean, as a guy who's drafting, you just look at rankings and throw them with a grain of salt this year. It's all subjective. I mean, it's even more subjective than normal. I do ESPNs and had a talk with them, and just you kind of have to go early on. If a guy is just diagnosed and being quarantined because he was around somebody, I'm not dropping him.
Right.
But asymptomatic, I don't know. You see, I'm not expecting anybody to play more than 55 games. Somebody will, but I'm not projecting anybody more than 55 games just because with a the schedule and the off days, you have to give guys more off days than you normally would.
Right.
So I kind of have some time built into it too.
The big thing for me is also league type, right? If you're talking about your 12 or 15 team home league, there's a different set of rules than trying to win an NFBC, whatever, just simply because of upside. So if people are discounting someone because of, then I may not in those sort of leagues, simply to try to get guys at what I consider a discount above the price other people are willing to pay. But I think the big thing for me is I'm not a doctor, so I'm going to do my best to track down the news and track what's being said about it. Asymptomatic versus symptomatic, you're hearing a lot about lungs, you're hearing a lot about other issues that can come from it. There's enough there that if I hear a player is suffering from coronavirus, I will take a considerable second guess about taking them in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, if in the drafts that I've done, there haven't been big discounts. If they fell significantly to me, in a draft, I would consider it. I mean, we did a draft over the weekend, and it was right when Freddie Freeman's wife had just put out the statement about how he's never get sick and she's never seen him like this, by Monday morning, he was feeling better and all that. And it's just like, it's not that I'm saying I will not draft one of them, but if there's two similar players, I'm drafting the one that I know hasn't had COVID. And I see a lot of people saying, well, we want him to get it now because then they won't get it again. And I'm like, that's not the way this works according to science.
Well, no, maybe Andy can speak to this too, but we don't know.
Yeah.
This study says you can get it again. This study says you can't. We don't. Right now, we don't know.
Yep.
So that's I've been trying to follow that for personal reasons because, whatever. But we don't. I mean, viruses normally you can get immunity. It works, maybe a booster, but we don't know. The second positive could be some dead DNA that hasn't been removed from the system, or you get it again. So these people that are saying, I'm going to target people that are, that could be, not to mention I don't want to go on the radio and, here's the list of people. It's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean,
you don't want to wish it on people and hope they get it and then get over it.
Trying to decide what a player's wife feels and therefore draft him. It's just, it's uncomfortable.
Todd, I should have, and I had him in my queue. I just didn't draft Votto. I should have.
Well, whatever.
No, I should have.
At this point,
looking at the rest of OBP by first base,
I haven't drafted anyone who's been diagnosed. Because the main thing here is I don't know how I feel about it, but no matter where people are in drafts, I typically can flip a coin between a couple of people, and that seems like a good a reason as any for me to go another direction, and that's pretty much how I've been going.
Yeah, I'm with Matt 100%. Same thing.
I mean, I'm sure there'll be a point where I'm like, oh, that guy's still here. All right, I'll take a shot, but it usually doesn't get that point until late for me. There's always someone else I'm fine with.
Let's have some fun. The guy that's better than Joe Adele.
Nice.
They're both good. They both need at least a week of seasoning, Adam. They're not quite ready for the majors. They're close, but maybe 7 days, 7.5. Magic. They're going to be brilliant.
Compound and work on their fly balls.
Yeah. And Nate Pearson needs to shag some outfield flies too.
Are they quad A players? Are they Matt Laporta? Is that what you're telling me? Or
no, they're quad A for now.
Okay,
but but then about a week into the season, they're going to be major league players.
Ralph is saying he may hop into the Zoom. We'll see if.
Get ready.
I took a cab in New York City
just
with
to rip
Ralph.
Nick Madrigal. It's a setup.
It's a trap.
Let's make that happen. That'll be worth it.
It's a good pick there.
Didi.
I wanted Didi, but I already have two shortstops, so
another
we'll do it.
Keith Law also does not think very highly of Nick Madrigal. I think he didn't have him in his top 100.
I don't think highly of Keith Law, so there.
Ooh.
Tell Keith. I'm putting it out there, Keith. You don't shame Nick Madrigal.
The gauntlet has been drawn.
Is Keith doing fantasy or straight baseball for the Athletic?
Straight
Probably
baseball, but he hates Madrigal for it.
Yeah.
He hates everything about Nick Madrigal.
Well,
Who, me?
No, we're talking about Keith Law, actually. But yeah, your name has come up.
How dare you take Lorenzo Cain?
Keith likes his walks, and you're not going to get him there. All right, I'm just going to do it.
All right.
It's all those ground balls that Madrigal hits.
Nice.
Here we go. But all Matt Williams has been talking about is how great Nick Madrigal is.
I heard him. I've been.
Hey, here I am not having. It's not like I'm drafting him everywhere. All I'm saying is that the White Sox
just to mess with you.
The White Sox are a team that needs to bat this guy leadoff and see what they, let him bat ninth for a bit. He's getting on base the way he does in the minors. They should bat him leadoff just to get on base in front of the rest of the team.
I know he's station to station, but I'm still I'm of the mind that the only guy that can actually hit leadoff in that lineup is probably Grandal. Nobody gets on base.
Yeah, well, I did actually.
I like
ironically,
Anderson as a leadoff hitter, so. But I think that's probably where you're going.
It's the as new school as it is to put him there. Do you think Grandal being just so slow? Do you think that would be like a huge problem?
I mean, I said it. He's station to station, but he gets on base so much. Like,
he sure does.
Because I like Anderson, but I think to a degree, he's going to slide back a little bit this year.
Not win the batting title again.
Yeah, I mean, he has to hit 330 to be a leadoff hitter. It's not the National League in 1981 anymore.
Yeah. Oh, I'm assuming a Grandal's slow. Anderson will slide back. Robert. I always want to call him Robert. Luis Robert. He's probably not going to be in a position to bat leadoff this year. It just seems like if they're going for it, I think Madrigal could find himself in the top of the lineup, even if it's not leadoff, maybe second, like sooner rather than later. So I do think.
He's an elite contact guy, but it's just like, is he Adam Kennedy? It's kind of the question. Yeah. It's a little blast from the past for you.
About to say.
Hey, Solak, yes, I love that.
Nice.
Right after Danny Santana, I love that too.
You're big on the Santana train.
No. I love that Solak was taken right there because it's like, oh, you're taking Santana here. I'm taking Solak instead, who's going to be like so much better.
Nice dribbling grab, Todd. That was a good one. I think they've got to give him that job.
If they don't, he's a guy to get wins. Well, the wins don't matter in this league, but he's going to get innings, one way or another.
Yeah.
Have I drafted a closer?
Thank God. The Dodgers are going to just use him left and right against the Angels. his former team. Is that yeah? There's a tweet. When Ross Stripling's pitched against the Angels, is that a revenge game?
That's just one guy's opinion.
Sure.
Just one guy's opinion.
All right. Do I do that now or do I wait? I'm going to forget about it if I wait.
I think you send that now. I'll retweet it, Todd. Don't worry. I'm right behind you.
I'm the kind of guy that comes up with a tweet like at 2 p.m. and goes, I'm going to save that tonight because there's more people looking.
And then you forget about it.
Not that I'm a attention hog or anything.
You can schedule those. I've never done it, but I'm pretty sure you can.
I need a millennial to do that, and I don't have one.
There we go. There's your homer pick, Chris.
I hired a bunch of those to work for me.
He was next to my queue, Matt. OBP league, loved him.
You look how good he did when he was injured with a neck problem. Yeah, in OBP, if he's healthy, he could be sneaky ridiculous. So, but he has neck issues, and that's not good.
Sneaky ridiculous.
I was going to say sneaky ridiculous sounds like a Sesame Street character.
I don't want to do it. I'm
like, who took the cookie? It was sneaky ridiculous. He's a yellow furry monster. Wears a pair of sunglasses.
All right, here's my regret of the draft right here. Boom.
I mean, sure.
And 15 other people go.
Yeah.
Your first regret was in round 14. You're doing really well. I have 1, 2, 3, 14 regrets, but that's
you know why it's a regret is early on I took Verlander, Corbin, and Darvish are thinking, all right, I don't have to worry about pitching again forever. And then when I finally looked at the pitchers I'm available, I'm like, oh no, I waited a little too long.
I should have done something about that.
I don't think you waited long enough. He does get to pitch every 6 days, Matt.
We'll see.
How long will that last before someone gets hurt?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
And the Angels' arms, I mean, Ralph, you can tell us, they're just loaded, right? Just tons of guys knocking on the door at AAA, ready to Double A, ready to take the field in Anaheim.
Yeah.
Hell of a system.
All their arms are destroyed anyway. It's just like the guys at the major league level.
I wish that they were one Ross Stripling richer right now.
It's funny,
and a Jock Peterson for that
like
matter.
Jock and Stripling for that matter.
Yeah. God, he would have been good there too. That would have been a nice park for his power.
Stripling would have like blown out, and then they would have like waited 3 weeks to get to like have him actually meet with the physician, and then they would have like injected him with like bat serum, and then realized that didn't work after 6 months, and then he would have Tommy John surgery. So we actually wouldn't see Ross Stripling pitch for the Angels until 2023.
Sounds like a great comic book.
All right.
Bat
so
serum.
The drone guy now tweets me, "Did you find your drone solution, or were you just joking?"
He knows a guy. Some fell off the back of a truck. What's the big deal, Todd?
That Joe Drake? Did I just see Joe Drake?
In the flesh.
Damn, man, what's going on?
Not a lot.
I'm excited that Joe Drake is in this league. How much do you bench press, Joe Drake?
Not enough.
Good answer.
Bench has always been a weak spot for me, despite my short arms.
What's a bench?
What's a bench?
Do people do that? Does that happen?
Dansby. Nice.
I know. I saw that pick and I said, "Oh, was that Chris?" No, it wasn't Chris. You always take Dansby like one round before I'm gonna take him. That's how I know. That's why I assumed it was you.
Would have been. Would have been.
You guys are lucky Justin Mason isn't in this draft. He'd definitely be all over Dansby.
And now after Malik Smith.
He was right. He was right enough Dansby before Dansby like played a game in the major leagues. I'm not kidding either. I had him on a show in like 2017, and we got into a fight over whether that was a good or a bad trade. Seriously.
Joe, did we inspire you to take Jock Peterson? Yes or no?
No, he's been in my queue for a bit, and then his name came up, and I was like, "Oh no!"
Fuck. Oh man, I got to take him right now.
Quick.
I like the random bits of energy too.
The hell with it. I'm just.
Todd,
No one cares who I pick. I'm just going to take the guys I want.
That's the way it works.
Live your truth, Todd. Just take your guy.
I'm pretty sure Drone Solution should be the name of your fantasy team.
I was going to call it When and Where, but I can do another one.
Why not just Trevor Bauer? Too soon? Too soon. All right, fine.
I can't think in 60 days. I know someone took him. I'm not ripping him for fantasy purposes right now, but in if he pitches every fourth day like he claims he wants to, if they allow him, whatever, who considers that a positive or a negative? Like, is it a positive because of the innings pitched and the strikeouts, or ratio wise, he's going to go out there and just destroy your team even more consistently than he normally
Giving him
does?
so many home runs.
Just more damage or more stats. Like, where does everyone come down on that?
I saw a video posted the other day where Trent DeVoe barreled a ball on him. If you know anything about Trent DeVoe, I don't think he's ever barreled a ball against.
Who
send that to Roto? Send that to Roto Wear as a shirt. Trent DeVoe barreled off of Trevor Bauer.
Who stepped back into the bat? Like, was that DeVoe? There's somebody in camp who like took a curveball from Bauer and then took him way deep.
DeVoe, this was like a video from like his Momentum channel in like the desert.
Okay, no, it was in Great American that someone just wrecked a ball off Bauer.
Oh no, it was
Castellanos.
Castellanos. Okay, bat flip and all. It was amazing. Bauer blocked me many years ago. It's fine.
Jesus.
It's fine.
I timed
Ralph
out.
timed out. I don't know if you meant to do that.
I actually wanted Will Smith, so it doesn't matter. But
You good?
So
yeah,
we wasted
my queue was
55
fine. You just had to wait a little longer. I'm sorry.
55 seconds of our life went away.
I'll move the video over to the other side.
Can
so
I
it
make
doesn't
my
consume
parents
my
just don't
view of,
understand joke or no? Is that would that hit here? No. All right. Oh crap! I gotta actually do my job during this too. I gotta write my update. Crap.
We'll say that.
Sniped on Will Myers. Jesus Christ.
That's sexy.
Depends on who's breathing.
Unless he breathes.
Unless he's hearing my fan, I don't know. Maybe.
That's awesome.
Good.
After dark.
ASMR
NERF after dark.
And stuff.
Nick just described it as psychological warfare, Dan. Intimidation. Dan just starts breathing. Silence.
Keep your pants on. We're good.
That's a nice pick. I like Ian Happ.
Yeah.
Someone has to.
I thought you were saying it was a nice pick, Ian Kennedy. I'm like, well, thank you. I hated it, but I'm
No,
We doubled up on Ian's.
double Ian.
Ian run. Is anyone else worried about Rosenthal? I got a ton of Ian Kennedy early, late in all the drafts, and now
As the man who just drafted Ian Kennedy, I'd like you to shut up. Jesus, this isn't like 3 minutes after I draft him. You guys got to bring up him. Why?
Mike Matheny has something to say about that.
Oh God.
No one loves Trevor Rosenthal as much as Mike Matheny, even Rosenthal's own mother.
Malik Smith. I almost took him, but like, I have a
Who was
policy.
talking about Cy Young dark horses earlier?
Yeah.
What policy stopped you from taking Malik Smith?
My don't draft
Lily
Malik
from
Smith
AT&T
policy.
Yeah, that's what
here.
people
I'm
ask me about
back,
draft strategy,
and
and
while
don't
most
draft
stores
Malik.
are open,
Draft
I'm
such
working
that
from home
I'm not
and
forced
here
to
to
draft
help.
Malik Smith.
Here's a tip:
Yes.
get half
I'm
off
pretty-
the
I'm
amazing
pretty good at
iPhone
phone
11
bases,
on
so I don't have
AT&T,
to
America's
back
fastest
myself into
network
that
for
corner.
iPhones.
I'm gonna-
Second
this
tip:
is
you
my-
can
this
put
is my
googly eyes
NL
on your
Cy Young
stuff
dark
to keep
horse.
yourself company. For example, that's Geraldo.
That
my
is,
best
now that's a
friend.
dark horse, Adam.
I like it.
Sorry,
I
Nancy,
like
I
it.
forgot you were there.
If he can make it past the first week,
amazing
he's
iPhone
good.
11 for
If the
half
season
off on
ends
AT&T,
after the
America's
second
fastest
week,
network
yeah.
for iPhones.
I mean, if it's a broken pitcher and you want to bank on, I feel like Garrett Richards might be your guy.
Came
But
down
I've been
to
in that
campus
well
policies.
in the
All
last
8
5
of
or
those
6 years.
universities now have their
This
campus
is the
policies in place. And quite frankly, they have
comeback
made it
pitcher of the year,
impractical,
okay, but, yeah.
to have fall competition.
Interesting
Part of
that Nick took
has to
Cease
do with
before
travel
Kopech.
restrictions for faculty, staff, students.
Well, he's intimidated by the breathing.
This little cup may seem small, but it comes from a small
What's the latest on the drones,
one of
Todd?
thousands on eBay, powered by millions of people.
Replied back,
all
as curious
working
as I
to give
am,
you exactly
would
what
have
you
run
want.
me.
And that's no small
It was a
thing.
joke.
That's everything.
I don't think I can afford it
It's
on
been
my
almost 6
unemployment
months, hard to
return.
believe, since Niner.
This little cup may seem small, but it comes from a small business.
There's a guy I have no idea what to think
One of
about.
thousands on eBay,
Yeah,
powered
no
by
clue.
people,
Don't.
millions
It feels
of
like a
people,
guy that they're going to cycle out
all
pretty
over the
quickly
country,
just because they have
all
other
working to
talent
get you what
that
you
is
want.
just superior at both
Exactly what
positions.
you want.
Where if he
And that's
strikes
no
out, I
small
don't know.
thing.
It just seems like if he doesn't get off to a
That's
good start, he may just be out of their plan really fast because they have better players on the team this year and definitely moving forward.
Flip side is he could hit 10
As
bombs.
You can imagine.
Yes.
This is
And-
very
and
heartbreaking.
you'll- and he can
with
and he'll go
multi-
between two positions, right?
Multi-position, with it. Todd, was it you that used the term? They wanted to use the term MEP for multi.
Yeah.
I'm 100% with you.
I also want to call Marlin Stadium the aquarium.
Sports at a nationally competitive level, which is what
All right, I'm going to cross my fingers that everything's okay.
primary
here.
alternative to this decision would have been
Yeah, especially when they had that monument. I mean, it looked like a kid's aquarium with that castle and the fish. I mean, I thought it was the aquarium,
retain the very
but
best coaches and staff.
didn't catch.
So that became increasingly difficult for us in this
Matt,
situation.
I'm curious who you like
the
better than
president,
Chavis,
the provost, and
waiting
I
in the wings.
agreed
for Boston.
strongly, as did the board of trustees,
I mean,
that operating our program.
I liked him a lot more before they brought before they brought Mitch back. Right now, I mean, obviously you have Mitch at first, and at second you have
as many sports as we can. And
Peraza. I think the problem is if Dalbeck gets an opportunity, I think he can steal first base really quickly. And then obviously down the line, they have some guys in the minors. But just in general, I feel like they're not long-term or short-term tied to him. So in a short season where they're really going to be going for it, I'm not saying I don't believe in him, but if he gets off to like a rough start, I can see them not really giving him much benefit of the doubt. That's I guess the issue. But he's going late enough where I'm not have a problem. It's just he's in an interesting situation.
They held him down in the minors for a long time last year too. He had an extended stay in AAA that was a little unusual, and I don't think it was service time.
Darn it, I forgot what room I was in because I'm all over Vasquez this year. Forgot it was an East Coast room. Oh well. I just think that Vasquez is going to play a ton.
Yeah, did last season, you know.
Yeah,
I got into a lot of fights with people when they shipped Blake Swihart out of town. Everyone was like, "Swihart's the future. What are they doing? They ruined this guy." And I was like, "You've never seen this guy play in person.
Powered by people.
You've only watched him on TV and you like his tattoos.
All over the country.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
All working to get you what you want.
And then people started coming at me, and I know like
and that's
stories
no
about
small
Swihart
thing
that I didn't share and I can't share here, but it was like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. It's Christian Vasquez all day. Like, he's significantly better defensively. I mean, Swihart's not even a catcher.
Apparently, Dan is still using the breathing technique to intimidate Nick.
Nick's going to drop out here soon.
I'm just going to take my mistake.
Why is any? Oh, damn you! Why is anyone like getting in your face about Blake Swihart? By the way,
last year when Swihart got like released, traded, whatever with the Diamondbacks, people were really pissed off. I was on a plane down to Florida for a week, and I was on the plane, and like Swihart got released, and I tweeted something about it, and people got like pissed off.
You know, I thought you meant in person. I thought you were about to tell me people.
Jared Carabas was, loves Swihart because he used to go on that podcast all the time. So, and anything Jared Carabas has said over the last 3 years is now fact, according to most idiot Red Sox fans. So, it's one of those things. It's like he loves Blake Swihart and he had a cool name for him, man. And it's like, yeah, he sucks at baseball. Sorry. All right. I've been scouting these for 3 years. He's not good.
You can't just tease us and say you have all these Swihart stories you can't tell. There's got to be one.
I'll tell you guys stuff off air if you want.
Fair enough. Although I think I think our audio for this is just Dan's heavy breathing.
It's dead. No one can actually hear any of this. I just wanted to be in the Zoom call, so I felt like we were actually drafting this league in person like we were supposed to.
Yeah. I just realized my entire queue is just smart-ass picks for later, and I don't have anyone I actually feel like drafting right now. I should probably fill it with people I actually want.
Where's the fun in that?
That Hauser pick.
Was my next one. Nice pick, these. John at MLB moving average. Matt, I don't know who loves anyone more than he loves Adrian Hauser. Well, he loves Jason Castro more, but
yeah,
Hauser's is his side piece.
He's still doing a draft.
Yep. Look at that pitching staff.
I think the Paw Sox are done then. I think that's it. Like there's going to be nothing else there. They're just going to woo. Is that right?
That is correct. They're supposed to have like a visual goodbye or something like that.
We'll see.
Maybe they can play one game there.
I got the press release this morning from Worcester. I mean, they're laying a foundation. The frame of the scoreboard went up today. They're making headway, but there's they lost a lot of time. So I don't know. It wouldn't shock me if we got a month.
Oh, right.
If it goes anyway the way it went when New Britain moved to Hartford, I was there for that. There might be plenty of time for them to play back in a.
Well, they definitely have all the permits pulled. The city is very much on board with the team, like all in on the team. And I mean, they've already redone Kelly Square. That if you know Worcester at all, it's an absolute nightmare. So that was huge. I drove through it a couple weekends ago, and it was like night and day. And I work like 3 blocks away from there typically. I mean, I've been home since March, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if they finish on time. I think that's really what the big question is. But in terms of permits and some of the stuff that happened with Dunkin' Donuts Park, I think you should be fine. I think we're probably all right. It's probably going to open without any issues. But my hope is that next year we can actually have this draft at the park. And that's what I had mentioned off air. But we'll see.
Go to Worcester, Mass.
In Worcester. But it's honestly like that whole section, like the Canal District, is actually pretty nice. It's cleaned up a lot, and there's like a ton of stuff going on.
Yeah.
A lot of good restaurants over there. Yeah, a ton. And you got a nice dispensary around the corner if you're into that sort of thing.
Nothing compared to the dispensaries in Fall River. Where I think that's where the mayor only gave them away to his
JCL Carrera.
Yeah. His wife's brother apparently owns all of them somehow.
Yeah, he was taking kickbacks on him. I mean, that was obviously what he got popped for. But that's Fall River, man. You know, the way it is.
I was on a plane with him back from Vegas last spring when all this thing was going down. And he's and he's sitting there and he's got like
such a crook.
He's got this hoodie on. This is the mayor, right? He's got his hoodie on, and so he gets to the gate, and he's waiting, and he's dressed totally normal. He's got like a sweatshirt and jeans and sneakers or whatever. But then when it comes time to get on the plane, and it's a nonstop from Vegas to Boston, he pushes his hoodie up, puts his headphones in, and puts on these big like reflector sunglasses to like. You look like the Unabomber, and I was just like you've been sitting in the gate for half an hour. Everybody who would have recognized you has already recognized you. Now you're going to dress up in your disguise.
Yeah, I mean that's JCL Carrera, man. I mean he was, Southeastern Mass, Rhode Island. We like our dirty mayors. You know, I grew up in the age of Buddy, so I get it.
Tsutsugo is a nice pick, Andy. I don't own him anywhere. He was one of the guys I was hoping to get late. I love the multi-eligible positions. The fact that he's a multi-eligible position player, a MEP, and I just think he may have more power than what we think.
A default position in fantasy is always take the Rays who you don't think are worth anything. They just pop up, So the same thing with their pitchers too. That's a very smart team.
Yeah, they're my pick for World Series because I think they're and Todd, I think you've written something along this as well. They've been built for this the whole way. I mean, they know how to manage a pitching staff like nobody else. They've got depth.
The Clippers had
they're
shut down.
Smart. And I figure like they're the smartest team in baseball, so maybe they can figure out some advantages that other people can't.
NFL.
Yeah, I like the Dodgers against the Rays in the World Series. The Dodgers are just too good. They're too good.
That's a good pick, Mick.
Dodgers taxi squad could hang against the Orioles and Pirates, I think.
Or the Giants.
I
can't say that too loud in my house. My wife is a massive San Francisco Giants fan.
Really?
I will be rooting for the Rays this year, I think.
Yeah. Well, I told her you get three World Series in 5 years. That was like you can't complain for another decade. But I'm a Yankees fan, so I don't get to say jack to anyone.
I know, I think many of us know, but we know a scout on the Rays, so we'll root for him.
Yeah.
Although I've been told that some scouts don't like to win because they have to pay taxes on the ring.
Yeah, screw winning. Who would want to put up with that noise?
It says more about what scouts make than anything else.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Depends what the job is. You know, if you're an area guy, that's a good gig.
I'm reading but I put it down and I haven't picked it up in a while. So is it Future Value?
Future Value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
That was a great read. I love that.
I bet that they wish they had an extra little bit of time knowing like all this crap that went down. Like just with the things that the official word on the minors being, I mean, they allude to it earlier in the book, but it's too bad they didn't get an opportunity.
We announced the minors was canceled like 3 months before Baseball America decided that then it was official. So
no, I know. I'm just saying that, and then like the draft probably being permanently.
I take so much offense to that because JJ Cooper got so mad at Joe. It was great. He was so upset.
He did?
Huh?
Is that why Ray Butler's out there
Distractions
defending
in the
him so much?
NFL on the heels
Not
of an
defending
announcement
JJ.
from Amazon.
I love the Alcantara pick, by the way.
I think he was poking the bear a little bit, with JJ. But yeah, I mean, it's the way Baseball America is, like for the most part. Like they kind of get mad at a lot of stuff that we do. Like it doesn't matter if it's us or other prospect sites, but our content is different, so whatever. But yeah, they got very upset about the whole rumored to be canceled minor league season. Instead, they left everybody hanging for months on end when they knew what the story was.
I mean, it was obvious what the story was. Not even like it wasn't like a secret.
Yeah, and the way it was reported, it wasn't like it was, it was reported the way it was, and that was going to be a while before an announcement came. But
I'm back to breathe on the podcast.
Now, watch out for Nick now. Nick Mariano's going to make a ton of great picks now that he's not being intimidated by your heavy breathing, Dan.
I really hate all the minor league teams they cut. I'm literally a Mets fan because my dad grew up in Binghamton, New York, and that's one of the teams that are gone. And that's literally like practically that entire town. So it's just like really tough.
No, it's literally that entire town. It's not a bad park either, I think that's one of the things that sort of goes a little unmentioned with Binghamton. It's probably the nicest thing in Binghamton. Because my sister lives in that area, so whenever I go and visit family, I usually
you ever have a speedy sandwich?
I don't think so.
No, you know how the minor league team.
There's a Tully's right over there, and if you know anything about New York, I got to go to Tully's. So I go there and I hammer some chicken fingers.
It's like the unofficial, it's like a sandwich is invented there. It's basically like marinated chicken. It's like a New York State Fair, like Italian marinated chicken that's like skewered and on a sandwich.
I'd eat that.
They invented it there. When the minor league teams, they do their alternate uniforms, it's like a food item. They have like the Trenton pork roll, and then they're like the Binghamton Speedies. So that's like their thing.
Nobody beats the Rochester garbage plates, Matt.
Do they have a pork roll hat? I may have to buy that.
Yeah, they do. If you Google it, I think
I like New Jersey food much more than I like food in Massachusetts.
Seconded. I grew up in New Jersey, but that's fine.
Yeah. Massachusetts food is generally pretty bad.
I mean, it's not bad, but it's just there's a lot of there's nothing that's like this phenomenal regional item other than like
lobster roll.
See, like lobster roll, but even that, like I think it's like so bastardized. Like, and the stuff you get in Maine is way better, or you have to be like near a beach place,
I gotta say, I like a lot of different things. I don't like lobster rolls. Like, I went up to
You're a chef, right, Matt?
What's above? Yeah, I am. Above Mystic, Connecticut. What's that one in Rhode Island? Right above there on the hell is that?
Westerly?
No.
That's where my fiance is right now.
I can't even think of the name of it.
But
they had this place that had lobster rolls, and instead of it being covered in like the mayonnaise, it was literally just like fresh grilled
Butter.
lobster with a little bit of butter and herbs on a roll, and that was awesome.
That's my style.
That's a Connecticut style roll, really.
That was that was I had it there,
Pretty
but it
much
was
get
good.
that no matter where you are.
I just don't like the mayonnaise thing. I just never got like, oh, lobster, I'm gonna smother. Oh, I guess I don't like the I don't have a problem with them.
It just depends.
I just don't like. I guess some people really love them. It's just nothing I'm in love with.
I'd rather eat clams or like an actual like stuffed lobster.
Yeah.
But the other one is Coney Island hot dogs. New England style Coney Island hot dogs, like the wieners, the small
Never
ones.
been to Coney Island.
Rhode Island,
it's ridiculous.
The ones you get in Rhode Island, and then the ones you get in like random spots in Mass. There's actually one near the stadium in Worcester.
Yeah.
But I grew up and like you go in there and you power eat these things. Like I mean, you eat like 6 of them because they're tiny, but they have an all meat like chili sauce, no ketchup because it's America and we don't put ketchup on hot dogs unless you're a savage, and mustard, onions, and a little bit of like celery salt. They're amazing. I actually said I've said for a long time that if I'm ever on death row, that's my death row last meal. Is like 8 of those hot dogs.
And I love the fact that they serve them. They serve them in 3s. They put them on their forearm and like put the dog and the sauce on the forearm.
You get it.
Every hot dog tastes a little bit different depending on the sweat of the guy that prepares it.
Exactly. It's actually considered considered a delicacy. It's a skill. If you can get more than a dozen hot dogs on your forearm, you're considered like, the creme de la creme in southeastern Massachusetts / like Rhode Island. The other thing that's great is North Shore roast beef sandwiches.
Yeah.
Sauce, onion bun. You know what I'm talking about? You guys ever had those?
Mm-hmm.
Like not Kelly's, but like the real version of Kelly's, like Nick's roast beef and like Beverly and like those kind of places. Those sandwiches are amazing.
I like it. I'll still take that. I like the beef on whack from Buffalo. That's my favorite roast beef.
It's good, but it's not like I feel like the barbecue sauce is just key. I don't know. It's a different kind of barbecue sauce. It's like a tangy, very thin sauce.
I'm getting hungry. I was not expecting.
Have you gotten it with sauce before? You got to get it with sauce. If you don't get it,
I'm just getting hungry during this draft. I wasn't expecting to.
Wilson Karaman and I go back and forth on roast beef sandwiches from the North Shore.
I haven't found, so I need exact places to go, Ralph, on that, because roast beef's one of my favorites, but I haven't found a great one in my area in Massachusetts yet. So
you're in Waltham. You're not far from the good ones.
All right, lay them down. I will seek them out.
Bob's in Woburn is really good. That's like a drive-through one. I used to go there with when I was working, managing a sales team of a bunch of guys in like their 20s, and they were all from out of state and they had never had them. So we used to go over there like on Fridays, and you can also get like really, really awesome cheese fries that will make you want to run 7 miles the next morning just to burn off all the calories, but it's totally worth it.
I can take that.
Yeah, but it's all like it's usually like, or Greek pizza places are the ones that have it. It's weird, but it's so good. It's amazing.
All right, I'll check it out.
Where is this? Is it Worcester, you said?
No, there's like you'll see them throughout Mass, but it's really like a North Shore thing.
Yeah.
But it's these roast beef places.
If you wanted like a really good roast beef, you take a left out of Massachusetts and you keep driving to Chicago, and then you go to Chicago.
I'm telling you, dude, this smokes an Italian beef. And I seriously, dude, it's so good. But it's one of those things that it's regional and it just never was on Man versus Food, so no one decided that it was good.
I mean, I grew up with the bastardized Roy Rogers roast beef sandwich, so
these are so. I grew up in southeastern Mass. I grew up outside of Rhode Island. I grew up in Taunton, so I had never had them. And then I worked in Burlington for my first like 3 years of my career, and all these guys that I worked with were from the North Shore, and they were like, "Oh, have you ever had a roast beef sandwich?" I'm like, "What do you mean, like roast beef sandwich? Of course I've had a roast beef sandwich." Like, no, like a North Shore roast beef. And I had Kelly's, and I was like Kelly's. They were like, kind of, but that's Kelly's is like the McDonald's.
It's a chain, yeah.
But it's also like the bread isn't as good. It's like overcooked. It's really tender, like slow cooked roast beef.
All right, I'll take the drive this weekend. I'll report back.
They got a drive-through at the one in Woburn too, and it's like right downtown Woburn. I think it's right on the line of. It's not Winchester there. Is it Melrose? I don't know.
I don't like this. I don't like what I'm doing right now.
I just realized I just drafted Scott Oberg like 2 rounds before Wade Davis. I think just to give the finger to Wade Davis, like virtually.
Don't draft Wade Davis. Just don't do it.
No, I didn't. I know. I just drafted Oberg with no intention of ever touching Wade Davis.
What's the latest on Buster in the season?
Say what now?
I thought Buster Posey was considering sitting.
I mean, my feeling is if they haven't if they haven't said that they're sitting, then they're probably not going to sit, right?
I think that's probably true, Adam.
Yeah, I'm kind of comfortable with that at this point.
But you were saying about the Coney Island. It's funny. I have like Sunday package to the Mets, so I'm up there literally every year for like my entire life. I've never been to Coney Island, which, you know, just because you go up to New York, it's like an hour and a half for me to get to New York, another 2 hours to get to Citi Field on the BQE. So yeah, now that their AA team is Brooklyn Cyclones, I'll definitely be going out of my way to go there.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because the ones that are in New England aren't like hot dog you get on Coney Island. They just have the name. They're like they're Greek hot dog places is what they are.
Weird. It's called ours here in Providence is what, New York system hot wieners?
No, it's Coney Island system. Because East Providence. So I grew up at, you know, right outside of Providence, and we would drive into Providence because in Rhode Island the mob and Dunkin' Donuts run and everything. So we could drink when we were 18 as long as we had a college ID. I'm not kidding. That's true. So there were like 4 or 5 bars. We'd go into the bars and we'd go out drinking and we would head home. And the first thing everybody would do when they were leaving those bars would go to Coney Island System right on Main Street in East Providence, right before you get over to the bridge. And there was another one that was amazing. That might have been New York System.
Olneyville. Isn't that Olneyville? Olneyville, New York System hot wieners? Is that it?
Yeah, Olneyville closed. I think Olneyville went out of business a couple of years ago. But that was like a staple. There were a couple of them.
No, there's one on Smith Street. It's still there.
I really wanted Savale too.
What's the other one that's over near the Armory? Like not on the side where not on the good side of the Armory Park, on the not so good side. There's another one over there that's pretty.
I wouldn't have gone to that one.
I think it's called Jim's or Joe's or something like that.
Okay. The one that was in downtown Taunton was Tex Barry's. I think that's still there. And then there were a bunch of them in Fall River where my parents grew up.
Adam, where do you live? You're from Chicago originally, but you're in New England now?
No, I'm not in New England. I'm in North Carolina, my man.
How the hell did I let you into
make the
this
trek up there because I need a fucking vacation. So that's where I was going.
So you'll have to quarantine for 2 weeks before we allow you to walk out of your house around here, though.
Hell, man, I have to quarantine for 2 weeks to go to Maine. I live in Rhode Island. So, Adam, you were just going to come up here to do the draft because you were down in Carolina, so you're going to come up on vacation?
I have a lot of friends up in like the Northeast, like Maine, Rhode Island, New Hampshire area that I haven't seen in a couple of years since I had kids. So, but we keep in touch. So I was like, oh, guys, I'm going to come up and I'm going to be there for a couple of weeks. And I got a baseball draft. That's what I was going to center the whole thing around him. Stupid pandemic.
Damn straight.
Ruining my fun. No, I live just outside of like I said, I live just outside of Chapel Hill. So I'm proud of I'm like right in a sweet spot for a lot of different minor league teams. So I go to like Durham Bulls games a lot. I go to Greensboro a lot. There's a couple other small places up in like just outside of Raleigh and just outside of Greensboro that have minor league teams. So I can bounce around a lot. There's both White Sox minor league teams are around here too.
Yep.
So I'm able to see them in Winston-Salem and in Charlotte. So.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
A little home cooking for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you got ACC baseball in your backyard.
That's right.
UNC.
Yeah, I was We were talking about that a couple weeks ago because the Diamondbacks drafted the Duke pitcher. I can't remember his name.
Bryce Jarvis.
Yep, that's my guy. And I had seen him. I didn't know anything about him, but I went to go see him play. I went to go see Duke play at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park, and he actually had pitched a perfect game. And I was like, whoa, like I did not know anything about him, but I had seen a perfect game, and I was just so thrilled. And now he'll always have a special place in my heart because of it. Love that guy.
Awesome.
He was supposedly the guy that the Orioles wanted to try to bump down to 30.
Oh, yeah. That when they signed Kjerstad, or however you pronounce it.
Kjerstad, yes.
Kjerstad.
Heston Kjerstad.
Pleased to meet you.
My guy go.
Ralph, who are your top for dynasty leagues? Who are your top? How do you rank like the top 5 or 6 guys? I mean, outside of how do you rank them?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely Torque number 1. That's, in my opinion, that's a relatively easy call.
Yeah.
And then really it just depends upon what your preference is and really what the scoring is a little bit with the next couple of picks.
You think they'll actually be on Detroit? There's people that actually think he'll get at bats this year.
I mean,
seems like a silly idea for Detroit, but people like literally believe that.
I mean, he's one of those guys that probably starts in like high A right out of the gate, and
like Vaughn did last year, right? Isn't that where he started?
No, Vaughn actually started in AZL, and then for like a couple of days, and then they flew him out to Kannapolis. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't do it myself if I was the Tigers, but I don't think he's gonna get any time. All these guys are in camp because they didn't play it all this year, and they want to get these guys, into their system, working in sessions with their top coaches, and working on all different elements of their game that they feel they can, improve, or, maybe even just get firsthand data as well. I think that's a big part of it,
I saw Eric Cross put a Veen 2, which shocked me. But
yeah, see, I can see Veen 2.
Of course, yeah, I can see it.
I think in points formats, I can see Austin Martin being number 2, simply because he's going to get on base a ton. I don't have any questions about him striking out, and I think he's going to fill, a few different categories. But he's going to be one of those guys that, like, I think has more value because of the hit tool plus the walks, counting stats, that sort of thing. Where, like, in a points league, it's kind of that cumulative thing.
You think he'll run it all?
That he could sort of value. The guy that I like that I think people are sleeping on a little bit is Austin Hendrick. Like, Austin Hendrick's power is awesome. There's some hit tool issues, but he's a Pennsylvania prep kid, and he had made some changes to his lower half, and particularly his stomp on his leg kick, and it allowed him to get into a lot more of his lower half. He has a very similar swing to Bryce Harper, and I'm not just throwing like hyperbole out there. Brian Sikowski, who is the main, more or less scout for the draft, 17 U kids at Perfect Game, said the same comp. And I work with Brian. Brian's one of my good friends, but I think his bat is incredible. I understand Veen. Veen is the most talented high school hitter in the class, probably from an all-around standpoint. There's a ton of arms in this draft. I probably have Nick Gonzalez right there. I saw Nick a ton last year. I was around him a lot in the Cape, and he's just a phenomenal kid, phenomenal talent. But really, I mean, he's like he's a cleaner Heston. What's his name there?
Heston Kjerstad or Keston Hira?
Keston Hira. I was about to say Heston Kjerstad, and I realized I caught myself. Keston Hira. I mean, it's like very similar. He doesn't have the leg kick that Hira had, but Hira, like, I know the hit tool's been a bit of an issue, and I think some of that boils down to his mechanics at the plate. But he was like he led the D1 in on base percentage and batting average. He wasn't a power hitter, but he kind of unlocked that. And the thing with Gonzalez is it's just a super clean swing. He's maxed out for power, which Martin isn't at this point. He doesn't run as well as Martin does, and he's probably second base only. Martin's good defensively, so I think he probably ends up in center field considering
who they've got there too.
There's a lack of center field talent just in the Toronto system in general. There's so much pitching in this draft too, which makes it less of an exciting fantasy draft, in my opinion. In like reality for your team, there's a lot of exciting guys. Like Max Meyer is just, if you once you're able to dig into some of the underlying numbers on like Max Meyer's slider, because he's got bullet spin on the slider. He is a really, really fascinating player.
I heard he might get caught. Yeah, there was a talk that he actually might make it up this year.
I just don't see why the Marlins would do that. And they have a lot of arms.
Yeah.
I think Edward Cabrera is one of the most underrated pitching prospects in baseball.
I don't even know.
There's not many guys that can hit 100 with a changeup and an FU curveball that can get swings and misses and ground balls.
Oh, you said Edward Cabrera. Yeah. Yeah. What do you do with how do you like that next tier of bats? You got like Mitchell and
so
what's the kid's name that the Yankees drafted? Wells.
So I like Austin Wells a lot. I've been beating the drum on him as a potential fantasy guy. I think he's top 10, but he's probably somewhere around there. You know, I certainly move him up ahead of a lot of guys that got drafted ahead of him, particularly for fantasy. I think Tyler Soderstrom's probably a top 10 guy. Sabato's not far after Wells. Sabato can match. Jordan Westberg is like a sleeper because he's a guy that didn't have an opportunity to totally break out. I saw him a lot last summer on the Cape, and he was great. He hit as well as just about anybody on that Bourne team, and Bourne was pretty bad. But he's a guy that is kind of raw at the plate from a discipline standpoint, but it's not so bad that I don't think he can turn a corner, which is a lot of the same questions that like Garrett Mitchell has. From like an athletic standpoint and tools, Mitchell might be the top guy in the class. I mean, he's an 80 runner. He's going to stick in center field. He's got power and batting practice. The problem with him is he doesn't hit for power in games, and his swing is kind of a mess. You know,
he's a good dancer though.
Wow, yeah, he's not as good of a dancer as Adley though. Did you see Adley's TikTok?
Yeah,
dude. He did a backflip. That's crazy. Here we go. I'm going to take one of my guys that will never play because why would the Rays play Nate Lowe?
Free Nate Lowe.
Free Nate Lowe. Hashtag free Nate Lowe.
We were talking about this earlier, Ralph. What do you think about, I feel like I was definitely the minority on this. You think Joe Adell's not going to play? Or do you think he won't start right away?
I don't think he's going to start right away unless they're really pressed, you know? Yeah, I don't know. I can see them calling up Adele pretty early in the season if they're like running well. Maybe he's the plan once Trout goes down, you know? I wouldn't shock or leaves and then has to quarantine for 2 weeks, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'd like to see Joe Adele up, but I'm not so sure that I'm confident in the team being that aggressive. They've been pretty aggressive with him in terms of his promotions throughout the minors when you consider the amount of at-bats he's had. So
right.
Maybe.
I don't know who brought it up before, but somebody was worried about his AAA.
That was me. I just flat out, it's not a matter of me thinking they're going to give him it to him or not. I think he needed more time. And he was overmatched in AAA, and I'm worried about him. It's not even a matter of getting the at-bats. I think he'll be overmatched in a short season.
Probably. He just hasn't seen like a ton of high-level pitching, and Jesus Christ.
Yeah. If anything, it could be a real buying opportunity in Dynasty if he comes up and gets destroyed. Then you could go out and buy him for the future. But they may not be doing him any favors.
Otherwise known as the Carter Keyboom.
Yeah, exactly. I picked him as my National League Rookie of the Year, and people were like down my throat. I'm like, this guy's really good.
Carter Keyboom?
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone decided that Carter Keyboom was bad because he got called up a year too early.
Yeah.
For like 2 weeks while somebody was hurt. I mean, imagine that.
I know rookies
We're
struggling.
always like, hey,
the first time up.
we gotta give these prospects time. Why do they hold them down? And they call a guy up and he gets playing time and doesn't play well, and they're like, this guy sucks.
Exactly, man.
It was
why all these guys Southern? I like the fact that guy. I like the fact that the prospect guy is Southern, the anti-prospect guy.
I mean, I don't draft a ton of prospects in redraft, frankly. But I understand the process, man. I understand what these guys are adjusting to, and I think part of it too that people kind of miss is, a lot of these guys are getting, like an actual like nice hotel room for the first time.
Yeah.
They actually have like some of them have legitimate coaching. That's one funny thing that Tim Anderson had said, is that I never really had a coach until I was never really coached until I was in the majors. They have real food and nutritionists. They're not eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches back in a studio apartment with 5 other guys sleeping on sleeping bags on the floor. They're training in actual weight rooms. And I think the adjustment for that, it takes some time. You have coaches that maybe are demanding a little more of you too. There's certain guys that are just made for it though. I thought Vlad was, but he came in out of shape. So that kind of changed everything.
I think we all thought Vlad was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I tell you he was the most phenomenal minor league hitter I've ever watched in my life. I mean, I spent 2 years as a bat boy for the Pawtucket Red Sox back in like 90, 91 or 91, 92. And I saw Mo Vaughn in the minors. I saw Chipper Jones in the minors. And I've seen pretty much everybody come through over the last 20 years. And just in terms of like plate discipline, contact plus power, I've never seen a bat like Vlad. They're like 25-degree weather. I'm in Long John's with Lance Brozdowski, who now works for Marquee, behind home plate, and Vlad's taking balls out to like the opposite field. I'm breaking balls off the plate. It's just not normal shit you see from a 19-year-old kid.
Yeah. I like that, Andy. I like that Whitley pick is a nice speculative pick. It's one of those where I feel like if he comes up and they give him a role, he could excel. But and if not, you just cut him.
Yeah. You got to remind me, what are the reserve picks on this league and Fab? I forget.
Yeah,
I should know this, and I forgot.
We're doing I think we have 8 reserves.
Okay.
Right, and regular Fab.
Regular
Fab.
Every week, even within 10 weeks. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, I think there's a shot that, given the whole, if and Houston's a pretty smart team again. I think there's a shot that they distribute these innings and then they just wait for somebody who's hot. And he's got the stuff, the pedigree to be, legit Glasnow-ish hot. And then he could ride it. So it's a gamble, but it's worth it. To me, it's worth a gamble. See what happens.
He's got to get his head right. I mean, he's mentally been struggling for a few years now, and I really think that's what it comes down to. I mean, I've never seen a guy with 6 pitches, legitimately like 2+ breaking balls. A slider might be double plus. He had such a deep arsenal that he could honestly, like in different starts a couple of years ago down in the Arizona Fall League, he would just decide what his main secondary was, and he would have a different arsenal from day to day. He's really unique, and that's the other thing that could open up time for him is the fact that I think Urquidy and James are not in camp, correct?
Yeah, James
isn't there yet. Yeah.
I picked James earlier, and they say he's coming, so
yeah,
we'll see.
I think a nice stack right there. Especially this type of league. I mean, whatever. There's gonna be so much pitching. I feel like coming into. There always is pitching that comes into the league, but this year I feel like more than ever there's going to be some wacky stuff happening.
Yeah, I think especially, with this short season and the expanded rosters, the first month of the season and all that sort of stuff, they can do some things to keep some bullpens fresh. There's no reason not to. But I think the other side of it too is the 3 batter minimum, that changes.
They got rid of that, didn't they? for this season?
Did they?
No.
I didn't think they
No,
did.
they kept it.
They kept
I
it.
thought they kept it. Yeah.
Does this league have a innings minimum? Did you guys move the 1,000 to some other number?
We since we decided to just have no innings minimum.
Oh, okay.
And
Since innings is a category,
innings is a category.
Yeah, you're going to want them. Yeah.
So since innings is a category, we figured not even worth it.
Yep.
I'm up again. I'm out to lunch right now.
I can start breathing again. Does that help?
Oh. Griffin Canning, why not, right? Why not, Dan? Why not Griffin Canning this year?
He's in the bat serum phase of the Angels recovery.
That before or after the voodoo doll?
They got rid of that. They felt it was culturally appropriating.
I gotta say,
outfield dried up on me in this draft. I feel like looking back, that's where I was shocked at the. I don't know if it's the 16th team that puts there. Maybe there are 5 guys normally in a 15-team league that I like, but it's just like, damn it, Garrett Cooper and Anthony Santander. All right, I guess they're in my lineup.
You actually sniped Santander away. I like him quite a bit.
Oh, good.
I like him quite a bit.
That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
There's always Clint Frazier.
I wish Mitch Haniger's nuts would fix themselves.
I think it's the back now. I think it's
Who hasn't heard that before?
I'm pretty sure Mitch Haniger wishes it harder than you.
Maybe.
I'm gonna do something I really regret next pick. Someone's gonna take him before I go. That's the way it goes.
Live your life.
You ever be like, oh, I don't really want to do this, and then someone snipes you, and then you're actually pissed.
Isn't that how every fantasy draft goes?
Oh, I didn't want to do this. How dare you? You know,
every draft.
That was me with Sonny Gray for way too many years.
Todd Frazier. He should platoon at first base. I don't know if he will. That's Nick Solak's ticket to victory.
Rutgers own.
I thought they were going to get Wilmer Flores. Who's their first baseman? Ronald Guzman. He definitely needs to be platooned. Whether it's that's why I thought they'd get Wilmer to go with him, but Frazier would be fine. I know Frazier's a good defender.
They got Solak taken.
Early reports were Solak was going to be in the outfield.
Yeah, they got him playing first base too, though.
Yeah,
they gotta let Santana screw it up first before I guess they ship him out of the outfield.
The Todd father.
Well, Solak's also Odoro insurance. They're giving him a short leash.
Yeah.
And Guzman has been ill, so I mean, Texas is one of those weird teams. They've got a ton of moving parts, but none of the players are actually any good at the positions.
I know, like their best defender besides Todd is probably Gallo is probably their best defender on the team. That's sad. Corbin Burns. Someone put a poll out earlier. It was like, who had the best chance of winning a rotation spot? Corbin Burns. Before I said that, I probably should have remembered who the other options were. So I'm going to go ahead and look this up.
Freddie Peralta?
Lindbaum?
No, it was on different teams. Hold on. I know who posted it, so I can look it up real quick.
I will say that I'm a little disappointed Fantrax put gray for the players who opted out instead of a white flag.
Oh.
Too soon? I've been workshopping that one in my head all night. Like I've been trying to figure out the right cadence and tone. And
it's funny. I mean, a lot of people. I think it was Pitcher List on the last on the podcast I listened to yesterday. They were talking about how it's like we have to talk about this. We hate talking about it, but we're just gonna. It's important to put the caveat that obviously we're not rooting for anybody to get COVID and their lives are much more important than our fantasy baseball teams, but this is kind of what we're doing this for. So I think it's kind of awkward no matter how you do it, but
Absolutely.
I think it's important to give it. I think the effort is worth it. Just
naming it, like in saying we need. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
The question was.
We're not going to do this justice. This is fantasy baseball. We get it, but just naming it, even if it's awkward and it's a little weird, I think that's better than the alternatives.
Yeah, I would agree.
The question was, which of these fringe starters do you think has the best chance of winning a rotation spot in 2020? Dustin May, Corbin Burns, or Sean Newcomb? I just put Burns because Milwaukee's back end of their rotation is just so awful that even if they want him in the bullpen, they'll more than likely end up being a spot. Like May is like, what, 50-50 with Stripling? I just figure at some point Burns will work.
Why are they going to put Stripling into the rotation? I don't understand that. He's been far better as a reliever. Like,
he's been just as solid as both, right? I mean, but he's been solid as a reliever.
May is like a Dodgers facsimile. This is the kind of guy that we produce. And
isn't the report that they're stretching Stripling out already? That's why I assume they seem to be going that direction.
We'll see. I think they're going to stretch everybody out. From completely.
Are they? I just know there was a report out that they seem to be eyeing him up for that, but.
They'll probably like make up COVID tests and drop guys onto that list and then pull them off a few days later.
What's the deal with people being released? Like the Mets, not that he's a big part of any kind of plans. Jacob Ramey, whose biggest claim to fame was probably hitting, what's his name on the Phillies there? Rhys Hoskins. They released him to waivers, but they only have a 51-man roster. So why would you release him to waivers if you don't even have, like, you can have up to 60? What's the point?
So here's the deal. So I had a conversation with a few guys that are Orioles analysts the night that everyone was freaking out about the fact they only had 40-something players in the 60. You have to keep those guys in the 60-man. Why would you fill up your roster? That's what they kept saying. Like, why am I not gonna leave myself flexibility to potentially bring guys in and out of camp? So that's why they released him and had the extra. They want the extra spot.
No. I get it. I'm just saying if wasn't already on the roster, why bother doing it? Like it seems like they released him and they just didn't have to. I mean, maybe they just didn't like
cost saving that. I have no idea. Man.
It just seemed like a peculiar thing. He was picked up immediately by the Angels, but it's just I don't know. It just seemed odd. Who knows?
Maybe he got I don't know. Maybe he got caught taking a dump on the boss's desk.
Who hasn't done that before?
Who's the first player to get released, then test positive, and then file a grievance? I say who's the first person, like anyone could possibly pull out a name. Name one random player out of every major league.
Let me look back at my notes on Fangraphs. Do they have infection rate? And
we need a whiny to infection
I'm
ratio.
going Blake Swihart.
Probably will be.
That's solid.
Probably would be Swihart.
Well, there you go. Narrowed down. According to Fantrax, I have 1 million minor spots available.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, my list might not be long enough. I may have to go on auto draft.
I don't know why it does that. You don't quite have 1 million. 999,000.
Probably had to specify 0 in it.
Yeah, something like that.
All right, I'm going to take.
Usually, the way I found it, Fantrax has weird things. I tell Wagner about them, and they're fixed the next day. So I'll tell him about this.
Todd? Is that? As someone who owns Hansel Robles, tell me about your Ty Buttrey pick.
Solid reliever, and at this point,
yeah,
I just not all the starters are going to have good matchups.
Yeah.
I'm a Robles fan as far as save. I think he's a nice guy to target if you're not going to get a star. But
yeah,
right now it's just looking at bullpen arms.
Yeah, I agree. I've got a bunch of middle relievers in the queue, and I think it's going to be an interesting, especially for like the first week of the season. I feel like I'm going to want, who knows what the matchups are going to be, who's going to be doing what. I feel like I want like the high skill guys to see what rolls out.
Yeah.
More than ever, I want that.
in an innings league, I may have gone a little deep with the starters. I may have started taking these guys a little earlier in a wins league.
Yep.
Who ended up taking Puig?
Apparently no one in the room.
Yeah, I was about to.
You think he signs?
I don't know, but I was trying to figure out when he was taken.
There was a Red Sox rumor
18th
last
round.
week.
Eric took him.
Did not understand the Red Sox rumor, but that's neither here nor there.
He makes the most sense for the Braves at this point, right? I mean, if Markakis is going to sit, why not? What are they?
You've got Ender Inciarte, who is in my starting outfield right now, so that's why you don't need Puig. More than good enough.
I mean, the Braves are fine with Riley and Camargo. I mean,
yeah, I think the Drew Waters talk is a little aggressive.
They're not calling up Drew Waters, and they're not calling up Christian Pache. And they call up Pache before they call up Waters.
Yeah,
for the defense.
Yeah.
I think at this point, I think he's even a more polished hitter.
I mean, I know Adam Duvall's talking about. They're talking about having him fill in for Freeman, but even Adam Duvall is a nice part. I mean, I don't think they need Puig.
I don't know if Duvall's going to end up playing.
Adam Duvall is underrated. He's not a bad outfielder either.
I mean, just he could sit out and be exempt and get paid. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, he's one of the. I don't know if it's. I think he has type 2 diabetes.
Tested positive for COVID-19. OSU did not specify the exact number.
I'm not making that
after
up.
multiple student athletes tested positive on Ohio State paused voluntary workouts positive tests out of respect for the student athletes. Medical privacy.
Joe West
Joe West
is on the exempt list and said, no. I'm coming back. I'm playing. I'm very healthy. I can golf. And
very kind of
I'm not sure. I'm not sure some of this COVID stuff is what it's cracked up to be.
Yeah, not to get political, but he claims that all these deaths aren't related to COVID.
Yes,
that's what he actually said. Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe Joe West has been going around murdering people.
Imagine that statement in only one country in the world is considered political. Go figure.
Well, he's going after the all-time games umped record.
Yeah, which right then and there tells you what it's all about, Joe West. I'd rather be known as a good umpire than one who, retire as a good umpire than one who,
It's better nobody knows your name as an umpire.
Country Joe West disagrees. He's not only has a name, he's got a nickname, and he's recorded out country music.
Yeah, I guess. How much more money do you think he's actually made?
I wouldn't be surprised. I think he's actually made a little money. I think he's made a little money. I think he has made some I think I read that. I think he had a decent little contract for. I don't know if he still does it anymore. But in his prime.
He's 67. I mean, I know mandatory retirement's different for different things, but that's a little up there too.
Yeah.
You'd like to enjoy, wouldn't you like to enjoy some of this stuff at this point? I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, what's there to enjoy at this point for him, right? He's going to have to sit at home. He can't go anywhere. He
goes to baseball games and he hammers shots of whiskey and eats T-bones. That's his life. That's the thing. Those guys don't want to retire, man. You run into some of these old scouts in the Cape,
Yeah, exactly. You get the greatest seat for a baseball game.
Yeah.
The salary. Guess what the minimum salary for an umpire is? Do you guys know this? Pretty amazing. If you're a major league umpire, it's like $400,000.
What?
I'm in the wrong line of work.
That's $100,000 less than the players.
Well, minor leagues, you make literally nothing. That's the big difference.
Exactly.
But because the guys in the minor leagues and that play baseball make so much. That below minimum wage salary.
We have a Wander Franco setting.
Words.
Well, when people were saying it's better if the minor leaguers go on unemployment than they get released, that tells you how poor it is. I'm telling you.
They were like, we actually have to pay you more than your wages from the last few years because they're so low that it would be illegal for us to pay you this little. Well, yeah.
How do the umpires get selected to get to? Is it Major League Baseball or does the umpire union have something to do with it?
It's a complete. Oh, the union was a big part of all this, and that got them the salaries up really high. But it's a meritocracy. It really is just about how well you get graded at every level, and you get bumped up. So if you want to do it, anyone in this room, you got to go to the umpire school,
right?
And there's 200-300 every school they run, and they take 2 or 3. And generally, what they're looking for is a young 20-something, and they're dying for women, and they're dying for people of color, and it's that's really where they're headed. But it's a meritocracy all the way up, and you get graded every game. You get graded with the StatCast, used to be Quest Tech. Now they get graded by the Z system, which is part of StatCast, and it's a full-on report. The major league umpires, once you're in the major leagues and established, those guys really aren't that affected. But what happened was your raises started depending on how well they called the strike zone about 10 years ago. As soon as the raises were impacted by how well you call the strike zone, guess what? Strike zone was called regular by all the umpires.
Yep.
But they get raises, and their per diem is pretty damn sweet. I mean, it's a sweet gig to be a major league umpire.
Seems like it.
It's one of the reasons that home field advantage is lessened, because the differential balls and strikes, that was one of the bigger differentials for home field advantage, but it's not as much anymore. Pitching skills are almost equal home and road.
Hey, Matt, make sure to tell Corey I got Ponce de Leon again.
Is it my turn again? Oh no. Mick, it's showing, it's not like updating on my screen. Is it my turn? Yes or no?
Yes, it's your turn.
Oh my God. All right. Well,
you got 36 seconds if you need me to.
No. It's okay. It wasn't updating on the one screen. Let's buy the hype.
There you go.
Why not?
I mean, once again, even if he's not in the rotation, odds are they're going to need him at some point this season. Any word? I've heard Tanaka's early reports on Tanaka were that he recovered pretty well.
He's got a concussion. That's it. He'll play. That's it. Like that's his brain's bruised. It's fine.
It's not even Justin Morneau's career.
Dude, did you see that clip was so scary? And Stanton looked like he was half swinging on that.
Yeah. I like all the people that were really mad there wasn't an L screen there, and I was like, guys, they're trying to get like actual live at bats. Like they don't.
The pitcher but the pitcher also gets to make the choice. Like it's not like Tanaka said no to the L screen. That was documented in every article.
Yeah, none of them want it. You don't want to get on the mound for the real thing and have not experienced it for 6 months or whatever,
Yeah. That makes sense.
I'm not so sure a screen would have stopped that ball either.
You're not wrong.
This is a waste of a pick right here.
We'll see.
Hope not. I hope not.
I mean, at this point of the draft, it's why. I mean,
yeah. Let's hope.
He's one of the guys that was a late ad. You guys were talking before, and Trey Mancini's not there. Who knows?
For some reason, it looks like the draft is ending this round, which I don't quite understand because it says we also have 4 roster spots available.
So we'll have to bid and fab for.
I think we'll just do. That's probably the best thing to do. Is I don't know why it's set up this way, but
That's all right.
We have. Is
It
Eric
gives us
around?
space to have more guys to drop and know who to add when they all test positive for COVID-19 in a few days.
Do we want to let Eric back this out or what?
Yeah, I'm going to pause this.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, I think so. As long as everyone's good with that, we'll just use, Fab to zero. I think I'll make sure that it's set so that $0 bids are allowed. I think because it just looks like it's ending with round 28. I might have messed up the settings on that.
This is very off topic, but somebody on Twitter just used the term the Tiger King era of quarantine. Seems like it was years ago. And the expression, the Tiger King era of quarantine just made me pee my pants.
Gonna be a punk. That's gonna be
we're gonna break down
band.
quarantine based upon what was streaming at the time.
Wait, what was the line out of I don't even know, the cheer in your hearts or scream in your hearts thing that happened on Twitter earlier today?
I don't know. I don't think I saw that.
I think it was from like the KBO or from Japanese baseball. They like told fans to. I have to find it, but it was.
I think it was Japanese roller coasters.
That's what it was. That's what it was. I saw it from baseball Twitter, but it was Japanese roller coasters. The screaming on roller coasters would projectile spit out. So scream in your hearts, they said. And if ever there was a name of an emo band from like 2003, that's it.
Oh my God, my sister would have listened to it. When I had to drive her someplace, like to my parents. As someone who graduated from high school in 2000 and is very much like
I was 99, so yeah.
Oh, yeah. She put on, be like, I'm gonna put in the CD. And be like, all right. It'd be like her and her 2 friends, and then be like, it's Dashboard Confessional. And like by the end of the drive, I wanted to hang myself.
You're like, is that a violin? Are they like, why is there a violin in this band?
Why is he so sad all the time? He has great hair. Shut up.
Nick just said he's going to hear your breath in his sleep, Dan.
I don't get. We're not hearing it. I don't understand that.
Because before, so the way I'm streaming it is through a third party. So I'm not using Zoom directly. So I left my mic open and muted you guys when I meant to do the opposite. So it was just him hearing me typing and breathing.
Not just
on
him.
The stream.
The other 2 people that were listening.
The other, 2.5.
Even so, it's not like your breathing's loud. I mean, I don't.
I mean, I can get a little loud time. I'm not gonna lie. I appreciate you, but if I think I'm not on mic, I get a little loud with the breathing.
All right, guys. Well, I really appreciate you all taking the time. We'll, like I said, we'll pick up the last 3 reserves via FOB. We've got it through the. We got a couple weeks